Let's see. Okay, we should be broadcasting to the people. Tonight I'm broadcasting from the hacienda. So I know we had some issues last night. We'll see. We'll see how this goes, people. If you're watching us live, then you know that we are broadcasting on Utreon, so we can hold up, shoot us. We can't do this on YouTube. If you're watching this later in the replay or you're listening in audio, you want to watch us live, you need to go to Utreon, Utreon / Who Moved My Freedom Podcast or WMMF Podcast. That's where we come to you guys live, typically Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I think we're just doing, this week we're just going to do Monday, which was last night, and we're going to do tonight, which is Tuesday, because I'm taking the rest of the week off. I am going to Hamcation in Orlando. So that I think starts. I think I'm going there somewhere between Wednesday, like Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning or something like that. Lola and we're gonna be at Hamcation in Orlando. So if anyone out there is a ham radio operator and you're gonna be in Orlando for that, you could probably find us at that show. We'll be hanging out there. Lola and myself will be attempting to get our technician's license.
Oh, cool.
Yes, which
so you know Morse code.
No, they dropped the requirement for people to know Morse code, so you don't have to do that to get your.
So then the real
license.
hams will make fun of you, is what you're saying.
I guess maybe one day I will learn Morse code. It's just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the adventure. I was invited out there by my friend Jason of Ham Radio 2.0. He's gonna be out there. For anyone who knows, it's a pretty big ham radio YouTuber.
Okay.
He's been.
Are you going to be riding your own rascal?
I wish. Lolo refuses to let me ride those around. I would love to do it. So, okay, listen. So, other than that, go to hankstrange.com. That's the best place for you guys to go. The new hankstrange.com website has been built by 2A Commerce, and they do sponsor the show here. I'll be putting up things for that here coming up. But they're the ones who built our awesome website. If you guys go check that out. And they're the reason why it looks so amazing. You guys can look around there and find all the different ways to support us, platforms we're on. You can get this audio from there, all kinds of stuff. Everything is up there. Everything is up there. So just go check that out. That being said, I am going to kick the show off. Here we've got, let's see. So starting right here, this is our guest of honor. There he goes. The Pitbull. the Floridian. What is your thing, like what is it? Florida director, Louis Valdes of GOA. I don't know exactly what your title is. I always mess it up.
So I'm the Florida State Director for GOA. I'm also the Director of Outreach for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands for GOA.
Awesome. There you go. So are you Puerto Rican or Cuban? I thought you're Cuban, right?
Cuban. My wife's Puerto Rican.
So there you go. All right. Yeah. So I don't know. Can I call you the Cuban Pitbull?
Yeah.
Was that okay?
I don't know if Pitbull himself will be pissed about that, but that's on him.
Wait, hold on. What is Pitbull himself? What is he? Is he Cuban?
He's Cuban. He's a Miami Cuban, man. He's like born and raised in Miami.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you guys will. This whole show we're going to be talking to Louis Valdes. Also joining us, FlyingRich. We'll be talking to him as well. He is, I don't know what FlyingRich is supposed to be. I have no clue. He's part bird, but, his ability to fly, I don't know, is questionable.
How?
His ability to fly, very, very questionable. No. So we'll get into that. We got FlyingRich on that you guys see typically with John Crump. We're going to get all up in this now. I am going to kick off the start here. Let's go. Let's do this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation, Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded.
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory provides 100% US-made firearms and awesome binary option triggers. Their focus and purpose is to provide freedom tools to all Americans, especially those in not-so-free states. So when you're in the market, please consider Franklin Armory. All right, there you go. Okay, so we are broadcasting. We are live out there. Let's do the jazz hands. Let's keep it traditional. Gotta do the jazz hands. There you go. We're taking it back from the terrorists. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on. This is... it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. This is going to be the last show for this week, so we're going to have fun. This is episode 867, and as I said, my guests are Luis Valdes, GOA, Florida, the state director. Did I get that?
Yep, you got it.
State director of Florida here. Definitely a pit bull fighting for Second Amendment gun rights in Florida. And we're going to talk about constitutional carry. We're going to do an update with that with Lewis, as well as talk about other things. And we also have my friend FlyingRich here. Just a general troublemaker joining us here. Also a Floridian. I'm a Floridian. Lots of...
I was in your hood this weekend.
You were in the hood. I did not see you. You this weekend. But yeah, so if anyone, whoever's from Florida in the chat, let us know. If you're also in Florida out there, you don't have to be in Florida to help us out, to share this and all that kind of stuff. I would ask everyone who's watching live on Utreon, smash that arrow up right under the title. And if you guys have questions and stuff like that for Lewis or Rich, we'll get into those here as well. Let me start with Lewis. Lewis, welcome to the show, my friend. Let's jump right into it. What is the state of gun rights in Florida, specifically, constitutional carry? What's going on?
Oh, where to start? So this session started on January 11th, and prior to that, Representative Anthony Sabatini out of Central Florida introduced constitutional carry again for its third time in a row. It's assigned back to the same committee as last year, the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Subcommittee. This time, that committee is chaired by Representative Chuck Brannon III, a Republican. The committee is majority Republican. The House is majority Republican. The Senate is majority Republican. And, of course, we got Governor DeSantis. He's Republican. So you would think that this would fly through without a problem. Well, again, the bill's stalling. There's no forward movement. Myself, as GOA's Florida State Director, we've been putting pressure on the legislature. We've been putting pressure on the governor for constitutional carry. Other gun right groups have been putting pressure on the governor and the legislature for it. And there's even been just private organizations putting pressure. And it's just not moving forward. So the big issue is we have a Republican majority that claims to be anti-gun, and they're not doing anything that's pro-gun.
Right. Yes. And by the way, I was trying to put up on the screen the article that you have. Now my phone is like typing everything that I'm saying, and our friend Rob McNeely was trying to call in there from TUSC. But here, I'll do it now. Rob was trying to call me.
I got to give TUSC credit. They just donated a big wad of cash to GOA, so thank you guys for that.
Absolutely. And I think Rob was trying to call me because he got in trouble. He got suspended on Twitter for sharing that on Twitter. So he was trying to call me about that. But there is an article up in the Truth About Guns, and the headline is Floridians Want Constitutional Carry. So why aren't lawmakers listening? It's written by you, Lewis, and I was trying to scroll that in so everyone can see. Because I guess you've got a video that you guys were at the Capitol, and you confronted...
That was last Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, last Thursday. So Chris Ann Hall of the Liberty Group, they invited GOA as a guest speaker at their event at the state capitals to specifically talk about constitutional carry. And afterwards, I passed around petitions to the crowd for them to sign, for us to hand deliver to Governor DeSantis' office, Senator Burgess's office, and Representative Brannon's office. And we understood that, hey, look, it's committee meetings, things are going on. No one's probably going to be in their office. It's just going to be their legislative aides and the front secretary for the governor's office. So we hit the governor's office first, turned in the stuff. We took a video of that. We took photos of that. And the aide there was very polite, very friendly, very nice. We then went to Senator Burgess's office. He's the committee chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, where we would like for him to introduce a proposed committee bill mirroring the House Bill 103. And that was the message we wanted to bring across to him. So we went to Representative Chuck Brannon's office as the last stop. because of the way the Capitol's set up.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there, same routine. We were talking to his legislative aide, and the way the office is set up, so you have the legislative aide on one end, then you have a hallway, and then you have the legislators' offices on the other end.
Okay.
So literally, Brandon's office is right across the hall from his legislative aide. The door was closed. We figured he's got to be somewhere else in the Capitol, or he's not even in the Capitol. And literally, as we were finishing dropping off the petitions, and we were simply going to do a group photo around his sign by his door, he pops out like a deer in the headlights. Like, oh my God, what the hell did I just walk into?
Yeah.
Mind you, you have people there holding signs, literally saying, I want constitutional carry now. Why don't we have it? So on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And everyone's just looking at Brandon, and very politely, very respectfully, we asked him, where is it on the bill? And the video we got, you only got half of it because we weren't expecting him to come out. So, the phones were already put away by this point, whatnot. But we did catch him on video, literally going on camera, pointing to the camera. I want to talk to you, as he turns around and just runs.
Yeah, so I'm playing some of this. Some of this is on Facebook, some of what you're talking about. I know you've got 2 clips up there, so I'll play that.
So that's us right now. We're turning in all the petitions to the legislative aide, and right behind all the folks to the right of the screen is where his office is.
Okay.
So literally, where the gentleman in the red shirt is standing, that's Brandon's door right there.
Okay.
So we're talking to the legislative aide. We're saying, hey, this is what we want. The Senate Majority Leader supports it. The Senator supports it. The Senate President supports it. The party chair supports it. You have all these different organizations supporting it. Why isn't it coming up? Mm-hmm. And right then and there, we were like, okay, hey, we got our message across. People are turning their stuff in. And we were going to get ready to take the photo. So if you play the next video.
Let's go to this one. So this is him right here.
Where he pops out and he literally just hauls butt.
And that's you going right after him.
Dude.
Yeah.
The pitbull going in. I see you followed him all the way out.
Yeah, I followed him, and I was, I've done some years at the Capitol, so I know the ins and outs, and I know that, look, if you start yelling and screaming, the sergeant at Arms office are going to come in and kick you out. So, very politely, I'm behind him, and I'm just going, Representative Brandon, are you going to bring the bill up? Mm-hmm. When are you going to bring the bill up? As I have one of my business cards, as GOA's rep, I'm literally just here with my card, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to give this to you. Mm-hmm. Give me a call.
Yeah. And
literally, he just kind of looks at me, takes the card, and then runs into another representative's office and closes the door. At no point did he answer the question.
I'll be safe here, right?
Yeah, literally, he did that, and at no point did he answer anyone's question on constitutional carry. Mind you, he campaigns on being pro-gun. He signed. He claimed he signs his campaign slogans and all that as being pro-gun. He runs around as being pro-gun.
And you know what's funny? Not meaning to cut you off, but when I looked him up, what district is he in? Because I know he went to the University of Florida, which is here, obviously in Gainesville, and I think he's somewhere around here.
If I remember, it's District 10, and so he's up around like Clay County and Suwannee County and Baker County.
Okay.
He's up by there. So,
because when I looked at him on Facebook, quite a few of the people that I knew, I saw at least somewhere between 6 and 10 people that I know personally that live in my area, live around here in Florida, were actually friends with him on Facebook. Because you would think this guy is supposed to be he's supposed to be pro-gun, including my sheriff, who's very pro-gun.
Well, a little bit of background for him is, I believe he used to be a deputy sheriff, that he had a career in law enforcement with one of the sheriff's agencies up in north central Florida. I forget which one. Mm-hmm. And he retired from that, and then he went into politics, which is neither here nor there. Look, I did 15 years as a cop. I'm extremely pro-gun. So I don't see that as an issue. Mm-hmm. But I do kind of see it as an issue because he took an oath to swear and uphold and defend the state constitution and the federal constitution.
Right.
As I did in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And now he's a public official and he's taken that same oath.
Right.
But more so, he's taken that oath to uphold his own constituency's civil rights. And you have his constituency literally beating down his door saying, I want this, to where one of the counties in his district, the Suwannee County, their Republican executive committee released a resolution supporting the passage of constitutional carry.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, just think about that. You have a county level Republican Party organization that's part of the official state party apparatus saying we want constitutional carry. And the guy that represents that very district, that literally gets support from that party apparatus, is not following what they want.
So
that's literally biting the hand that feeds you.
So what is the reason? I see, and obviously I'm not all in the conversation that's going on in the chat, but I see that Night Train says Disney and the multi-billion-dollar hospitality industry. Is there money? Is there money behind this from certain things, certain entities like Disney out there that don't want constitutional carry to be allowed in Florida, and maybe they're funneling money to the Republicans? Because Republicans control Florida, right?
Oh, Republicans wholeheartedly control Florida. There's 102 Republican lawmakers in the legislature. You have the governor. I mean, the only statewide office that is not under Republican control right now is Commissioner of Agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
which is a shame. That's a crying shame. We allowed that. The people who didn't go vote allowed. What is it? What's her name?
Nikki Haley. Nikki Free.
Yeah. They allowed a Democrat in there who's been throwing a monkey wrench in the works every single chance she gets.
Well, she's a prime example. She's a prime example on why we need constitutional carry. Mm-hmm. Because last year during the pandemic, she shut down the entire processing system for the state CCW permits because she didn't like it. Mind you, 99% of it is done online. There was no public health risk of me going online and, filling out an application online and sending in everything online. She just shut it down.
But anytime you can throw a stick in the spokes, why wouldn't you?
That would be her job. That would be her job as a Democrat, as a liberal, right? I mean, if she's in there, that would be the marching orders from the Democrat and the liberal side. Why are Republicans? Why are Republicans in Florida, that most of them that I've met say that they are not just Republicans, they're conservative. They, they believe in the Constitution. They support the Second Amendment, and then they do things completely contrary to the Second Amendment and the Constitution, including, is his name Rick Perry? Is it Rick Perry? That's the Gainesville. Is it? I think it's Rick Perry, right? That's here in Gainesville. Am I saying?
I forget.
I forgot his name, but he.
I have to honestly go off a list because in the end I forget.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up just so I can be sure.
If it wasn't that I've known you for years, I would forget your name.
Right.
I'm just horrible with names. That's my problem.
Yeah, I think it's. No, it's not Rick. Rick Perry is the governor of Texas. What is it? Keith Perry.
Yeah, he was the former governor of Texas.
Keith Perry. Right. Keith Perry is the guy I'm looking for.
Yeah. Keith Perry.
Keith Perry is the guy from here, and I'll throw up his thing here on the screen so everyone can see this. This guy is here in Florida. He's the Gainesville guy. This dude, and I actually know him. I've talked to him. All that kind of stuff, And Republican tells me he believes in guns and all that. And he could have killed the gun control we have here in Florida in committee, and he didn't. He put it out there and he gave it to what's our last governor's name again?
Rick Scott.
Rick Scott. Rick Scott signed it. So even a couple of months ago, I ran into him somewhere in a local business here, and we had a little conversation. So yeah, these guys are Republicans. They claim to be conservatives. They claim to believe in the Constitution. They say they believe in the Second Amendment, and yet they're doing things contrary to that in Florida. What's the reason?
A lot of it has to do with money. It's an interesting issue in Florida. So the constant back chatter I hear from lawmakers is, if we have open carry, if we have constitutional carry, it's going to absolutely destroy our tourism industry. And I laugh at that because last I checked, 21 states have constitutional carry. 47 states have open carry in one form or another. Mm-hmm. And they all come to Florida to vacation. If it was such an issue, they wouldn't have it in their home states.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they all
Florida
push
is
for it.
also nicknamed the Gunshot State. There's lots of guns
Yeah,
here. Lots of people have CCWs here,
we
and
have
we're
the
not killing each
most.
other in the streets.
We have the most CCWs issued per
Hmm.
state. We have
Hmm.
over 2.5 million permits, active permits right
Hmm.
now in Florida. And the idea that, oh my God, if we have constitutional carry, it would destroy tourism. Again, it's ludicrous because you have 49 other states, and those people come here, and out of those 49, 47 have open carry, and 21 have constitutional carry. They still come to Florida. If it was an issue, they wouldn't have it in their home states.
They also would not come here. I see people. So first of all, I moved from New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey before. We all lived in Jersey before we came here. I moved from New Jersey to Florida because of guns. Because
Yeah,
Florida had easier access to my Second Amendment rights. That's why I moved. And lots of people do that. I'm not the only person that's doing that. There's lots of folks doing that. Lots of people
there's
moving to the South for that reason, not just Florida.
there's a ton of folks do it. I mean,
Right.
I spoke to the Susie Falcone. She runs the Second Amendment Defense Coalition, a little pro gun group out of Palm Beach County,
Hmm.
and she is literally this little 5 foot nothing, 100 pound soaking wet New Yorker. You know, she is stereotypical tough little Italian broad,
Hmm.
and she is like super passionate for constitutional carry. And I asked her, I'm like, why the hell did you move to Florida in the first place? She goes, simple, I couldn't get a gun in New York.
Yep.
I mean, and
Hello.
the idea that our tourism industry would suffer because of that is wrong. I mean, if you go on
No.
International Drive in the heart of Disney World, you know, right next to Disney, you have Machine Gun USA, an entire range set up to rent machine guns to tourists.
And people
And
come
they
from
are
all over the world, to
people
do
come
that.
from all over the world, and there's a line out of that place for people to spend $200-300 to put three magazines through three different firearms.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
they make buckets of money, and the idea that guns would scare tourists. Guns bring tourists, for God's
Yeah.
sakes.
On top of that, let me say this. There are still, no matter what, even if Florida banned guns, there would be a lot of guns here. Um, and I'm not saying everyone that's doing that is a criminal, right? There's a lot of patriots and good people that will be doing that. But there are bad guys in Florida that have guns, and they don't give a crap about what laws you do. But one of the reasons that we don't have like a rampant crime situation going on like you would find in New York City, Chicago, LA, etc., is because people in Florida can legally defend themselves, right? Because we have things like stand
Hmm.
your ground, because it's easy enough, it's easier than a lot of other places for people to be able to get a CCW or a concealed weapons permit. Some states, like my brother Anonymous Strange, he's in Delaware, and Delaware you have to publish in a newspaper your name and your address and all that to let your neighbors know you want a CCW.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I look at if you look at the national crime stats,
Hmm.
the five safest states are constitutional carry states.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
five worst states are gun control havens.
Hmm.
I mean, look, we could go to Puerto Rico right now. They recently
But
changed their law.
but Lewis, you don't understand. The guns come from the other states.
Yeah, last I checked, criminals break the law. Those laws don't work.
Yeah.
But
The
you know,
whole the definition of a criminal is someone
yeah,
who doesn't give a crap about the law. Unfortunately, and in some cases, I think honest law-abiding people shouldn't give a crap. There's too many laws in America, and a lot of those laws out there contradictory to our own safety, right? But
oh,
but but people
there's
like us don't want to follow the law. We don't want to be criminals for lots of different reasons, right? You know, you know.
there's a difference between laws. So
Hmm.
there's a legal theory that you have malum prohibitum and malum in se. Malum prohibitum is Latin for against the law because of prohibition. Malum in se basically translates to against the law because it's bad, because it's unnatural.
Hmm.
So, for example, a law that is malum in se is rape,
Walther Arms has been making concealed carry handguns for over 90 years, starting with the PPK. Today, Walther is based in the good old US of A and still builds quality firearms like the PPQ and PDP for personal defense and competition. So when you're in the market, please consider Walther Arms. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Walther Arms. Yeah, okay, so that was my bad, Lewis.
No, that's cool, man. Hey, I saw the counter and I completely forgot about it. So.
I saw it when it said 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, because if I do this little sound, that's saying we got a minute or less, but I totally forgot.
That's when a tax stamp gets issued, when you hear that noise?
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, so malum and se is bad, it's against the law because it's bad. So things like rape, burglary, murder, that's bad. Yeah. Malum prohibitum is things like the National Firearms Act. Oh, it's a criminal act because someone made it a criminal act. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing bad about having a rifle barrel between 14 or 16 inches. It's only bad because someone made it.
So my understanding, I've never heard what you're saying. I have to look that up because I always like the Latin stuff. So let me see. I gotta look that up. So malum, what is it?
Malum prohibitum and malum in se.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So here I could put this up here. I like to teach the people things, especially when I learn things. The distinction between malum in se and malum prohibitum offenses is best characterized as follows. A malum in se offense is naturally evil and adjudicated by the sense of a civilized community, whereas a malum prohibitum offense is wrong only because a statute makes it so. There you go. Which is exactly what our friend Louis Valdes already said. So, but there you go. We've confirmed.
Louis, I got a couple of questions. What does constitutional carry in Florida mean? What does, I'm a CCW. I'm just curious. Does it mean I can open carry? I can concealed carry?
The House Bill 103 basically says if you're a law-abiding individual that is 21 years or older, you could legally, openly, or conceal carry a firearm without the need of a CCW. The CCW permit is not being scrapped. It's not being scrapped for multiple reasons. One of them is reciprocity with other states. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the other is because Florida has a mandatory waiting period. But if you have the CCW, you skip it. Mm-hmm. And in Florida, it's mandatory statewide 3 days for handguns and long guns, but the counties are allowed to amend it up to 5. So where I'm currently living in Miami-Dade County, for example, it's 5 days for a rifle or a handgun or a shotgun. It used to be that it was only a 3-day waiting period statewide for a handgun and no waiting period for a long gun.
Oh,
if you lived in a county that didn't have it. So like, when I lived in Leon County, they didn't have that ordinance that they amended the waiting period. So back then, prior to 2018, I could have walked into a gun shop and buy a shotgun and walk out the same day. But now you have to wait 3 days no matter what.
Yeah. If
you don't have a permit.
Yeah. Not only that.
You don't have a permit.
Not only that, now with the gun control laws that Keith Perry and Rick Scott and these other guys put into effect here, Republicans here in Florida, you could be an adult. You could basically be 18, 19, 20 years old, and you can't just go buy a gun to defend yourself. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's horrible, and it's screwed up. So when I lived in Tallahassee, if you looked at the crime stats between Tallahassee and Miami per capita, if they had equal population, Tallahassee would be a more violent place. And part of that is because 60,000 people, residents of Tallahassee, were college kids. Mm-hmm. And they were disarmed because they live on campus, which is a gun-free zone. And because of Parkland, they were further disarmed that even if they lived off campus, they couldn't legally purchase a firearm to defend themselves if they were under the age of 21.
Yeah, including my kids. Like, one of my kids goes to FSU, and he was under that until he turned 22.
Yeah, so that is a target-rich environment, and every scumbag knows it and goes after these kids. Mm-hmm. Now, just don't think of it in terms of burglary and robberies and all that. How many 19-year-old, 20-year-old girls go to college? And they're the victims of domestic violence. They're the victims of rape. They're So
Keith Perry,
and they have
So
no themselves.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Keith Perry, when I spoke to him, about that, and he said, "Oh, like he's talking about himself. He said, I, for example, can buy something and give it to my daughter." I was like, okay, first of all, technically talking about like a straw purchase thing here. I get it. You can do all that. But what about the 18, 19, 20-year-old women that are independent of their families, that don't have a family to take care of them, or or a nice, powerful daddy to go buy that
Right.
thing for them, and meanwhile they're in college,
Yeah.
or they're working late and stuff like that, and they're in these bad neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff, places that I lived in when I was
Let's
18,
let's
19
take,
years old. Yeah, go
let's
ahead.
take it a step further. Let's say you have someone that's an out of state student that comes here from Georgia or from California or whatever.
Hmm.
Under federal law, the parent can't purchase a firearm and give it to them because guess what? They're a state resident in another state. That's now
Hmm.
an interstate transfer of a firearm. That has to go through an FFL. And they can't go, that college kid can't go to the FFL if the parents are trying to follow the law
Oh
and take
shoot!
possession of it because they're under the age of 21.
Yep, it's so
Wow.
crazy. And by the way, it like FSU, for example, they did have a shooting situation there on campus, right? I know.
The Strozier Library shooting,
Mhm.
where two individuals were shot. One of the individuals worked the front desk of the Strozier Library. He actually was a permitted CCW carrier.
Mhm.
Oh
And
wow.
because FSU is a gun free zone, he
Mhm.
followed the law and he didn't have his gun on him. And he couldn't prevent the incident from happening.
Yep. Yep.
And the FSU president at the time was John Thrasher, who was the former Senate president. And Thrasher, when he was in office, killed the campus carry bills from
Mhm.
advancing. And mind you,
Hmm.
Republican.
Yep. Yep. So
Unbelievable.
yeah. So we've got a problem here, clearly, I think, in Florida. Let me I just want to do a couple of things because we're kind of like we should be talking about news here in this section. We can really talk about whatever we want to, but I do want to interject some stuff. Night Train says, I'm in Delaware. I had to get fingerprinted, publish my name in the paper, take a class, reference five people from my county. That's
Let's say
what
you're not
place.
crazy.
Yeah, he says he does have an out-of-state CCW for Florida. And Brian Quick is saying that Georgia might get constitutional carry, and Brian Quick also said there's probably
It
some.
just passed their Senate Judiciary Committee in Georgia.
Okay, very good. And the former gunshine state of Florida cannot get that. It's embarrassing. Okay,
Hmm.
it's embarrassing. We need to do something about that. So any
Well,
things? Go.
Georgia,
Mhm.
Georgia and Alabama are advancing it.
Yeah.
Both
So
Georgia and Alabama are advancing it. So this year we might have the two states border Florida will have open carry and constitutional carry, and Florida will be equal to New York and Illinois in having a complete ban on open carry and having only carry done with a permit.
So listen, I remember, and well, I do want to talk about news stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll get into that in this section or not. But let's stick to the subject here for a second. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember when everything happened with Parkland, and Rick Scott. A lot of these Republicans said that they did the gun control stuff because Rick Scott asked for it. The reason why I'm bringing that up is, is DeSantis asking for it? He's saying, "Hey, I'll sign it." That's a political move. He wants to stay governor, maybe take a run at the White House. Is he asking for it though? That's really the question to me.
Everything that I've heard is no, he's not asking for it. He
Hmm.
hasn't asked for it. He says he would sign it. He says he supports the idea, but he has not yet publicly called the legislature to it. Just across the border in Georgia, Brian Kemp, as governor there, flat out said, I want constitutional carry to reach my desk and I want the legislature to pass it. In Texas last year, Greg Abbott did the same thing. And guess what? It passed. The legislature here in Florida, if DeSantis tells them to jump, they'll ask how high.
Hmm.
He needs to flat out tell the legislature, I want this on my desk and I want it on my desk now. but that will only happen if people make it a campaign issue.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what can we do to encourage Governor DeSantis to ask for that? Like, what are we not doing? Where are we failing? My personal. What are you up to, Rich? What are you up to over there? Okay, there you go. He just muted himself. Oh, he's eating. He's eating.
So, for
Yeah. So
example,
what are we doing wrong? Because I always like to, I think that when something is not going the way we want it to go, we need to start with ourselves, right? We need to look at the man in the mirror.
oh,
What are we doing
we
wrong?
have
What am I doing wrong? What's Rich
so
doing wrong?
the biggest the
Other
biggest
than
thing
eating that Snickers
anyone
bar.
I'm jealous of that, by the way. The
Yeah, me
biggest thing
too. Me too.
the biggest thing that
Got
anyone
another
in
one for
Florida
you.
can do is put pressure on the governor, call his office, email him, and do it over and over and over again. Make it an issue he can't escape. If he goes to a speaking engagement and you're there, ask him. Put him on the spot.
Hmm.
Right
So,
now,
Go ahead. I'm
Louis,
sorry.
I sent an email today to Governor DeSantis because I saw on the Florida, GOA
How do
that
you?
was an
Yeah. How do
issue.
you do that? That's what I was going to ask you. How do you do that?
But
Where do
there,
we get this info of how to message the governor? I'll put it up here if someone has it. Sends me
I
it.
will
yeah,
give it to
isn't
you right
there
now.
GOA action where you can just like do a form letter?
Yeah, we have that on our website, but you know what? Even if you don't want to go through that, I'll just give you the email directly.
Yeah. Send me if you have that stuff and you send it to me, I'll just put it up here and let people see it. Because look, I really think that if we want this in Florida, we got to stop, talking about it and being, we have to start being about it. And we really do need to push these guys on this. We have to be the backbone, right? It's good that we've got
Yep.
GOA behind us and we've got pit bulls, as I said earlier in this, like my friend Luis Valdes here of GOA. He really is, he's a tough guy, I guess. How long were you in law enforcement? 20 years or more than that?
15 years.
15? Yeah, there you go.
15 years.
Yeah, so we really need to do this. I see that Flying Rich put the governor's email in the chat there, but if Lewis sends that to me, I'll throw it up.
I think I sent it to you through the chat. I don't know if I did, if it went through or not.
So I wrote, "Dear Governor DeSantis, I'm so proud of you being my governor. I'm for Florida constitutional carry. Why can't I talk? Similar bills have been passed in other states with good results. There should be no issue passing similar legislation in this state." And it just kind of went on.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned that I'm for national reciprocity, but again, that's not a state issue.
So does
So we've been sending petitions into the governor, and one of the things we are bringing up specifically in these petitions is it says on page the Republican Party's national 2020 platform has stated the following in regards to American Second Amendment rights. We support constitutional carry statutes and salute the states that have passed them. Page 12 of the Republican Party platform. We are flat out pointing this out to the governor and to every elected official that the national party's platform is constitutional carry. And if they don't push it, they're violating that, let alone every civic minded idea of following the Constitution. We're going after their pocketbook on that. You claim to be a Republican. Here's the Republican Party's stance on it. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that that's something that we have to stick with. We have to find different ways. If there is a GOA form letter that's already out there, and if just text it to me and I'll be able to throw it up here on the screen, or if you have the link to it or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Let me see. I could probably look. Yeah, GOA probably has it on their website. They're really good with a lot of this stuff. You guys should already be aware of that. If you get on the Gun Owners of America email list, you'll get a lot of these things. We just have to keep pushing for this. And one of the cool things about Florida is that you will see these reps. Like, I do actually run into Keith Perry. There's a guy I know that knows him, and I was in this guy's office because the guy told me, oh, I'm really good friends with him. And he always comes in here, and I was in the guy's office, and he came in, and he goes, "Yeah, this is Hank Strange. He doesn't like you because he says you put gun control in Florida." And I had a conversation with him, and I was like, "Yeah, man, respectfully, I'm still not happy about that." I've told him, I've actually met with him in the past, when I was doing stuff with the guys from Big Daddy Guns. He actually came into Big Daddy Guns when this happened, and he got a piece of my mind at that time as well. This is terrible, man. This is a terrible thing. Now, when we talk to these guys, Lewis, like when I've spoken to him in the past, he goes, "Well, if you don't support us, if you don't vote for us, and Democrats get in there, they're gonna do worse." What's either?
But then,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Rich.
want to vote for Democrats. Honest to God, it's like, yeah, that's it. I'm campaigning for Democrats. F you. I get that.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off, Rich.
Yeah, no, I get that frickin' mad because I have Brian Mast as my congressman, and he would come to every Tea Party meeting, and I would talk guns with the guy, and he's like, I'm a gun guy, let's go to the range, we'll go shooting together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't have to go shooting with you. I got friends like Hank Strange who are cool and I can go shooting with.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's against semi-automatics. I'm like,
what the
serious?
hell does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but what is he talking about? What does he want you to have, a slingshot?
The biggest issue with them is when they claim they're pro-gun against Democrats. If a Democrat wants to completely ban all firearms, their attitude of being pro-gun is, well, I'm fine with you having a single-shot rifle kept at the local gun range under lock and key. See, I'm pro-gun. You get to hone that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, no. But the best way to argue that is don't be civil, but don't stroke their egos. Be honest. Just say, no, I'm a voter. I'm a constituent. If you don't do this, I will vote you out of office. I will support a primary challenger against you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we are. So we have Melissa Martz. She's going to be coming on John Crump Live. And actually, Hank, Melissa Martz is a great guest. So if you want to have her on, she'd be fantastic.
Okay. I'd be happy to, I mean, obviously I don't want to have too much dilution, of the audience and stuff like that. Cause I think you and John do good stuff. We try to offer a different thing and keep it all spicy here. But at the same time, I think we need to do that. We need to help people primary these guys. And in the end, even if they get through the primaries, don't vote for them. I refuse to vote. I did not vote for Rick Scott to go to Congress. I did not vote for that. I refused to do it. He wound up over there, but I refused to vote for him because now we've just put him in a further position that he's going to screw Florida. He's pretending very well. I keep an eye on him. He's pretending really well over there. And I think that's because he knows that we're watching him. These guys have to know there's a price. We kind of we need to keep their backbone stiff, we need to give some steel to their backbone. Go ahead. I think, Lewis, you had something to say here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another thing that folks could do is join your county level Republican executive committee. There is 67 of them. And last I checked, there's something like 200 seats open in these organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these county level RECs, they dictate what eventually will be state party policy. And that is a way to shape and correct the issues from the inside. Is everything starts local. Look, your congressman at one point, Marco Rubio, he used to be a city councilman. Everything starts local.
Yep.
If you have the ability to shape policy on the local level, it trickles up. And that is one of the things that I think people really need to get involved in is join their RECs because you could do an internal takeover of them.
Yeah. DCG 44, shout out to him. He says, he's in the chat. He says, Democrats stab you face to face, Republicans stab you in the back. Shout out to DCG 44, by the way. I was talking to him today. He's doing something very, very nice for myself and everyone who enjoys YouTube/Hank Strange. You guys will see that in the future sometime here, but we're not going to talk about that.
I got to give the Democrats credit. Give the Democrats credit because when they're gonna screw you over, they wine and dine you first at least. The
Right.
Republicans, they just go behind you dry, and it's just like, oh, nope, take it,
Yeah.
and you're going to like
No
it. It's like,
lube.
wait, what? It's like, I
Yeah.
didn't get anything.
You know, so they have to suffer. They have to suffer. There has to be a price they pay. Even to me, we have to be afraid. We can't be afraid, I should say. We should not be afraid of the nuclear option that they're talking about. When you go to vote, you should know what these people are up to, and do not vote for them, do not support them, and be willing to run people against them. And I'd like to ask, Lewis, you ever thought about it? We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Barnaul Ammo. Barnaul has a wide range of reliable, quality steel case ammo for small game, large game, target shooting, and self-defense. They've got the classics like 7.62 and 5.45, as well as 9mm all the way up to 308. Subsonic as well. So when you're in the market, please consider Barnaul Ammo. All right, boom, there you go. I'm having so much fun here. I'm missing this thing my damn self, and I didn't give the warning. So there you go. Oh, look, Rich showing the Barnaul Ammo. Big shout out to those guys, as well as the folks from High Point. Did you see the High Point Bros video that we put up, Rich?
Yep.
You got a big shout out in there. We're in the Gorn section right now, so we can show some guns. That's why we're over here. If you guys want to see guns.
Oh, finally. Thank God.
Yeah. So check this out. I'm going to show this first of all. This is my What Would Stoner Do build that I've done. See, check out the back right there. Right? The KP-15. And then up front is the Liberty Suppressors Leonidas. So this is a integrally suppressed 5.56 rifle that is very lightweight that I have here. I don't know. Well, hold on a second. Don't put the magazine in the wrong way. That's a bad thing. Let's see. There you go. Boom. Beautiful gun. Great for home defense right there. Integrally suppressed, Middle of the night, you don't have to throw on your Air Pro as well. So that's what I've got here. Let's see. Who's got something here? Lewis? Wheel gun.
So Colt King Cobra 3-inch 357 Magnum brass bead front sight.
I'm laughing because I can't remember the last time you showed a gun on the show. This is cool. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, let's see it. Can we see it up close?
Every time I try to show a gun, you have to remind me that I can't. So it's like,
you can show guns all you want to this whole time. Yeah. At any time. You don't have to wait for the Gorn section to do it. You could throw up whatever you want to out there. I see Rich is getting busy. I don't know what Rich is up to over there. Rich is... Rich going. He going... Oh, look at that.
Oh.
That is, for the people listening on audio, this is a bullpup Glock.
With a
34.
3D printed folding stock also.
Yeah. Oh, sexy. And then it has, on the grip, it's got the squadron.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like.
Let's see.
So how is this running, Rich? How's this running?
It's not running great. So I can get like 5 shots in a row without it stovepiping. So this is a remix of the original one I did, and I have a remix of the remix. Actually, Richard Hoffman suggested it. So
cool.
Let's see.
Yeah. By the way, the CEO of Utreon is in the chat, Edward Brower. He says, this is Utreon, so yes, absolutely, you guys could, He says, this is Utreon, so yeah, you can throw up guns whenever you want.
Eduardo, is he supporting the truckers in Canada?
Yes, there you go. He can answer that question, and I'll show that, so I'm just showing that off for a second. I can't share the chat here yet. I'm waiting for somehow to be able to do that, but yeah, go ahead, Rich.
This design is from Control Pew, and this is the first version that he shared with me.
Mm-hmm.
I redid it a little bit, so let's see if I pull this apart. There's lugs right here.
By the way, he says yes. He says yes.
Cool. So there's lugs right here that this forward grip lock into, and then this one has the lugs, so this gray one has the lugs, but it also has gussets here because one of the guns that I was shooting cracked right here. So it seems like the PLA Plus, which is the gray stuff, is stronger. I'm not sure what's going on, if I'm getting flex in this part of the frame, and that's why it's not fully cycling, or it's either not fully cycling or slow cycling.
Hmm.
And I think it has to do with flex in the frame here. So this is beefed up not only with the gussets, but it's like doubled up over here.
This is the fun.
So
This is the downside and the upside of making your own guns.
well,
One,
this
it's
is,
not as easy as Glock makes it look. That's number one.
and my
But
mag sticker came off. So
yeah, but two, it is it it is fun though making your own stuff, right? Because you get to
oh,
find out how these things work, which is a cool thing to do.
it's fun, and it's frustrating because I'm like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have this put together like Thursday, and I'll go see Frank. I'll go see somebody and shoot it at their place this weekend, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not ready for prime time.
Who is this Frank you're talking about?
I was gonna say Hank, but
Oh.
I said Frank instead of Hank, and then I figured I'd just go with it so I didn't look stupid. But thanks for highlighting that.
I was just getting jealous for a second. I was like, you can't have a Frank and a Hank.
Well,
It's
it's like I talked to you. I'm like,
secret.
hey, I got this print. I'm gonna put it together tomorrow. I'm gonna test fire it at my house. I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
in that's one of the great things of Florida. So if you have more than an acre or greater of property, you can shoot on your own property.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a range set up. I'm just shooting into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I can test fire it and see, without packing up my crap, taking a half-hour ride to the range, getting set up, paying $15 to find out crap
Yeah.
didn't work.
I
And
believe if the average in wherever you live is an acre or more, you could do that. So,
yeah,
yes, absolutely. If it's the average, if you live someplace that's a quarter of an acre and you have an acre, I don't think you can. But it's stupid. You
I
used to be able to shoot even if you just had like a little, 4 foot by 4 foot.
you mean like Keltec's range, because Keltec's range is a shipping container,
Mm-hmm.
and then their R&D is another shipping container.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That
So.
was another thing that changed because of Republicans. It used to be that you
Yep.
could shoot. I remember there was a guy in Key Largo.
Yes,
He lived on a little tiny postage stamp piece of property, but his property backed up to the water, and he built a proper backstop and everything.
but it was a
And
canal.
yeah, it was a canal, or it was the intercoastal or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed the law to where it has to be an acre because of that. So again, Republicans
Wasn't that
further
also?
restricted
Wasn't that
individuals' hunting rights.
Was that Scott? I thought that was also Rick Scott.
It was either
Or
around.
was
It was
it
either under the Scott
Chris?
administration, or Chris. It was one of those
Yeah,
two.
it was
But
one
in
of
the end, it
those
was Republicans.
knuckleheads. Yeah,
Republicans have been in charge for the last 20 years.
yeah. So shameful, man. So yeah, we definitely need to push back against this. Here's the question I was going to ask you before we dropped into this, and if you got other guns, we could definitely show it. I was going to ask, are you thinking anywhere in the plans, Luis Valdes running for office? I mean,
No,
no, not at all.
Hmm.
Okay.
not at all. Not at the moment. I honestly feel I could do better outside of the legislature than I can in, because
Mhm.
I'd rather support good people running for office.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, you got there's a couple of folks running for office, and these aren't official endorsements or anything, but I'm just giving them shout outs because
Mm-hmm.
they're good folks. You got Chandler Langevin down in the Brevard County area. He's running. You got Emily Nunez up in the Jacksonville area. She's running for office. You got Jenna Haig. She's running down in the Broward County area of all things. I mean, you got good folks that are running for office.
Who's
They're hard.
who's the British expat guy that I saw on one of the
Oh,
gun logs?
he's out of if I remember, I think he's out on the West Coast, out of the Tampa Bay area. I forget.
Yeah,
I know
what
what you're talking about, but I forget his name right now at the moment.
Yeah,
You know,
someone sent me that. Mm-hmm.
you got a lot of good people that are running as primary candidates, specifically against establishment Republicans that are anti-gun.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And again, I'm not saying this as an official endorsement or anything. I'm just saying this from a news standpoint. These people are running because they're tired of the way the legislature literally treats them and their gun rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It
here we go. Here's that article. Sorry, let me just ex-Brit challenger for Florida congressional seat. The ATF has to go.
he's running against
Wow.
Vern Buchanan,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Buchanan's an interesting cat.
So that's Martin
Wh-
Hyde, I think, right?
yeah,
Martin Hyde.
when
Yeah.
Buchanan was running for re-election after 2018 or before 2018, I forget when exactly. But the Republican Party of Florida sent out a campaign flyer for Buchanan promoting gun control. This was Republican Party paid literature
Mm-hmm.
that was sent to voters in his district promoting Buchanan backing gun control.
Yeah,
And it was,
Ooh.
yeah, didn't
I
we
will,
did we have you
I'll
on to talk
friend you.
about this? Because I remember you and I talking about it. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So literally, you had the Republican Party spending party money promoting gun control for a congressional incumbent candidate to
Mm-hmm.
stay in office against another lawmaker or against his challenger, saying that,
A
Mm-hmm.
primary challenger.
I don't even remember if it was the primary challenger running against the Democrat. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the entire,
Really?
from what I remember, the entire argument on that campaign flyer was, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm in favor of gun control. The guy running against me, he claims he's for gun control, but he has money invested in stock options in gun companies.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
like Twilight Zone. That's like I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone.
But the thing that drives me crazy is, one, the Democrats get elected and tell you what they're going to do, and two, they do it.
Mm-hmm.
In all
Yep.
Democrats are Democrats, and most Republicans are Democrats. It's never the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
I mean, Hank, we've had this conversation. When Trump got elected, all the Republicans, all the congressmen were saying, "Reelect us, we'll do the Hearing Protection Act. Reelect us, we'll do national reciprocity." Guess what? You didn't get reelected, a-holes. You should have done it first time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Stop waiting for the midterms. Anytime I hear
It's
someone
always
tell me
this
wait
carrot.
for the midterms, I'm like, wow, we wasted our time with these guys.
It's
I've
Lucy in the
always-
football.
I've always heard it's not the right time. We got to wait next year. I'm like, it's never the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if you sit on the sidelines, you will lose. If you get in the game, you might lose, but you might win.
Yeah.
This whole idea of just sitting and waiting for this perfect alignment of stars, no, push the issue and make it happen. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, I hate her as a politician, and I hate her as the thief she is, stealing from the taxpayers.
Oh, for sure.
But politically, she's a genius because she will bring up issues knowing that they'll pass the House but fail in the Senate. But she brings them up for a reason. Why? Because it stays in the collective public's consciousness. And it becomes an issue to where it then passes.
Yeah.
The Republicans are like, no. We can't touch this right now. It's just not right. It's like, to hell with that. Make it an issue.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let me also say, I don't like Nancy Pelosi's face. She looks like a chihuahua. She looks like Mars Attacks. Remember remember the movie Mars Attacks where they switch a
Love that
chihuahua's
movie.
head onto a woman's body? Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Nancy Pelosi reminds me of.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
That was one of the first movies I ever bought on DVD when DVD came out.
It was fun.
What Tyven says Nancy Pelosi's eyebrows have sideburns.
See, this is weird. You guys can see the comments. I can't.
Oh, you have to go to. I sent you a link that you can open up in a separate thing, and then you might have to mute it when you go over there. But that's the only place you could see the comments because we're on Utreon. Hopefully, we'll get the Utreon guys to give us a better way to that I could just throw the comments up here. Couple of things going on here.
There we go. Okay, I figured it out.
Yeah, DCG44 says, I know you guys focus on Florida because it's your home, but if any Texans are watching, support Chad Prather in the upcoming Republican primary and hopefully 2022 governor race. And I don't know what's going on in Texas, but we try to focus on what's going on in the whole country. I do personally know Lewis, and we've been friends for years now, I think, at this point.
Yeah, God, I still remember the first time we met. It was at SHOT Show, and I bump into you, and it was like, hey, I have a Daewoo. You have a Daewoo. We need to go shoot our Daewoos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've I think we were together in Tallahassee a couple of years ago at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It was during the Parkland gun control fiasco that I
yeah,
helped organize a rally, and you were one of the guest speakers. But
yeah.
so in regards to Texas, I'm not the state director for Texas. I handle
Mhm.
Florida.
Mhm.
We have a fantastic group of folks in Texas that kick buck and take names.
Mhm.
I wish I could get them on the phone right now to ask who is the best candidate in Texas, but GOA is very active in Texas. For anyone in Texas, go to GOA's website. Trust me, they'll keep you up to date on who you guys should back when it comes to 2A issues on that.
Yeah, GOA has the best info, I would say, for folks out there if you want to know.
Hmm.
Go look at that. Look, I think what was it? When was it, Rich, that we had, I don't know if you were on that day or not, but we had Daniel, Gun Doctor TV. He's in Kentucky. If there's other people from GOA out there representing
Hmm.
different states, I'm always happy and open to have those folks come on the show here and
I'll
talk about
gladly
things that are
pass
going
the
on.
word
Yeah.
and spread it around, and they'll come on.
Hmm.
And I don't want to segue back into Florida, but of course
Hmm.
that's where we all live.
Hmm.
So,
And it's
Rich,
important. Florida is important, I think, for the country. I mean, let's realize, like, right now, Florida is one of the top three places in America with everything that's been going on the last 2 years of the COVID lockdowns that people are going to. So, Florida is very
yeah.
important when it comes to what's happening in the country. I'm not saying it's the only place. There's obviously people are going to Texas as well as a few other states out there, but it's interesting what's happening here, even if you
So,
don't live here.
so, so Rich asked me, hey, what about this whole thing with Disney funding, or is Disney funding anti-gun movements and all?
Hmm.
You do have the Chamber of Commerce, and you do have the tourism industry that they kind of throw this idea that, oh, it's going to hurt their industry. Now, for folks that are watching that are outside of Florida, you could actually do something. I want you guys to call and email Governor DeSantis, and I want you to tell them that as tourists to Florida, you would actually visit Florida more often if
Hmm.
constitutional carry passes. Because every organization, every group that I've spoken with, they all want to whack DeSantis with a stick and say, "Oh, if constitutional carry is not passed, we're not going to spend money in Florida." Yeah, to hell with that. Dangle the carrot. Tell them, and it's true because no matter what, people will come here.
Hmm.
So if you're going to come to Florida, use your dollars wisely. Tell them I will
Hmm.
spend more in Florida if
Hmm.
constitutional carries.
Well, maybe they should say, I want it, like, there's Six Flags in Texas, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
They should say, hey, Texas has constitutional carry, has Six Flags. I'm going to Texas for my family vacation.
Hmm.
They have constitutional carry and
The
amusement
states
parks.
around
I'm
the
going there.
union, the states around the union that have constitutional carry are going to be the safest. I'm not saying this. I'm a big supporter of concealed carry. I have the permit. The Florida one reciprocates, I think, to what is it, like 29 states or something like that.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of
oh,
states,
it's 30 something states
30
now.
something.
So
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm all for that, and I don't always want to let people know what it is I'm doing. However, I
Hank,
think that.
are
Mhm.
you? I don't mean to interrupt, but are you
Yeah.
seeing the things I post in the comments on the guest chat?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
The,
post.
but I can't share. I'm not
I'm
sure
posting a
how to share.
GOA alert.
Okay, if you let me
So
see.
I
I'm
just
trying to.
posted a GOA alert for the 40. It was our 49 state alert specifically for the out of state residents.
If
This
you
is
if you text it to me, I could actually share it better with everyone because this is our own
okay. I'll
thing, and
text it to you.
I don't have a way to throw that on the screen here easily. So
Okay,
that's the problem
I'll
with that.
text it to you.
Yeah, Rich and I could see it, so I think maybe Rich can copy it and put it in the chat if he's on the same system. But I'm using several different and desperate things that don't connect to each other just for the sake of the broadband. So,
So
yeah,
I am
42
going
Chill
to
says
text
we
it to
can't
you
see it.
right now.
Yeah, Brian Quick says if more Americans call their representatives about Pro 2A initiatives, we would see improvement. Yeah, we just have to keep that up. And the beautiful thing about local politics is you get to see these people. And you get to talk to them, and you get to give them a piece of your mind, respectfully. When I saw Keith Perry, I didn't disrespect him. I did give him a very, a very stern piece of my mind for sure. The first time when this whole thing happened, and I was upset about it, and I still am, to be honest with you guys. But even the last time that I saw him here, I was still respectful. And if you guys noticed from that video that we were showing earlier, with Lewis going to the Capitol, he was respectful. All those people were respectful. That guy, what's that guy's name? Dan. What's the name of the guy that you went to see him and he walked away from you? That was disrespectful.
Chuck Brannon, Representative Chuck Brannon.
Yeah, that was disrespectful what he did.
What bothers me about that is he could have just smiled, shook your hand, and listened to you for 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me switch.
Even if he hated your guts, he could have done that.
Right.
But he just, ran. He's like, hey, you mind if I hide your office for a couple minutes, close the door?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. So right here, I am sharing in this other screen what Lewis was sharing with me. Florida gun owners need your help to pass constitutional carry. And there's the alert that goes through. So if people want to get these alerts, Lewis, what are they supposed to do to get these GOA alerts? Well, right there.
Go to gunowners.org/join and join GOA. It's just $25 a year, and you get national alerts and you get state alerts, and we are coming up on a hard break in the next 10 seconds.
Oh, look at that, man. Jeez, you're good with this. You need to be a regular on the show. I missed it again. Okay, we are coming up here in a sec. With Arms List, you can shop the extensive list of local and nationwide firearms classified, now with more confidence because of their built-in firewall. For only $6.99 a month for personal use, or $30 a month for business vendors. So when you're in the market, please consider Arms List. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Arms List. All right, so here we go. We are back here for a second. I'm going to read comment. Let me see. Let me get these guys' names up on here. So let me just read this comment from Night Train. He says, flying is horrendous, suffering the indignities of dealing with TSA thugs, threats of fines, and arrests for not wearing a mask over your nose. Yeah, I noticed that. And then the other day, Lola was flying out to meet me, I think, in Nevada, in Vegas, for SEMA show. And she forgot, she's got this little Microtech, and I'm pretty sure it's actually TSA.
Oh no!
It's TSA. Oh. It's TSA approved, but she forgot it in her bag. They found it. Babyface had dropped her off because she left her Tesla at his place in Gainesville, and he was like, "Hey, I'll come back and get it." They would not give it back to her so she can give it to him.
Really? All right. Yeah, so I donated a Kershaw to TSA on my way to SHOT Show. Mm-hmm. Hey, $20, $30 knives, and it had a chip in it, so I really didn't care. They're like, well, you got to check the bag, or you can bring it back out to your car. They handed it back. They would
not let her do it here in Gainesville, and we don't even know how to get it back because they're like
you can get it back. You can buy it at an auction.
Well, the police officer came in there, Gainesville PD guy that's stationed at the airport came in and said, listen, I don't have any problem with you giving it back to her so she could take it home or give it to someone on the outside. And the TSA guys refused. So
that's crazy. Because the TSA guy said, hey, it was in my backpack. Mm-hmm. He's like, you can check your backpack. Go out and check your backpack. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to check my backpack.
That was a Microtech I bought for her birthday, $200. And it is laser engraved also. It's got Lola Strange on it. It's got Hank Strange all over it. So if anyone ever comes across it, I would like to get it back, and I would definitely be appreciative of it. Give you some stuff. Horrible. Some definitely a reward is involved in there somewhere. But yeah, so it's there's a lot of nonsense going on, and that particular knife, if I'm not mistaken, is supposed to be travel safe.
They don't. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
They don't get the memo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost lost a very special SOG multi-tool that I got as a gift when I enlisted into the Army many years back. And, I forgot it was in my carry-on. We were leaving Vegas, of all places. Mm-hmm. And TSA took it from me and they're like, oh, well, you can't take it on the plane, this and that. And I was like, well, what the hell can I do? And the TSA guy, at least he was courteous enough to say, hey, if you go right outside the security area, mm-hmm. there's a mail drop box that you could mail it to yourself. Mm-hmm. And it costs like, $50 or something. And I was like, fine, so I went, put it in the envelope, put my credit card information on it, threw it in the thing. And I was like, well, I'll get it at some point. And it showed up like a month later.
A month?
Yeah.
But not all airports have that. And that's the crappy thing.
Yeah. No, well, this TSA agent would not do it. He would not. A cruiseman
Dude,
said that
well,
knife went right into the agent's pocket.
you know
So
TSA recruits from Domino's Pizza.
yeah,
The guy
well,
was delivering pizza last week.
yeah,
You think he's up on all the rules, read all the memos?
yeah. I don't know, man. That's pretty terrible. And I don't think Lola was able to get any kind of report or anything like that to do any follow up on it. And I don't know anyone here at the local TSA, for that matter, to really track it down. But yeah, there's lots of horribleness going on all around for everyone. So let's see what we in the previous thing we should have covered news. We can really do whatever we want to do here. What new stuff is on you guys' minds? Anything out there in the news on people's minds you want to talk about?
Well, for sure, how the ATF has been caught red-handed, having close to a billion
Mm,
4473 records, and them claiming, "Oh, well, we don't have a record, because under the FOPA, the Firearm Owners Protection Act, it's illegal for the federal government to have a registration list minus the NFA list
mm-hmm,
on gun purchases. Yet they claim that they now have close to a billion records, something like
mm-hmm,
900 million scanned 4473s.
mm-hmm.
And remember, on top of all that, they redid the 4473, so all the pertinent information, your name, your address, your date of birth,
So
and the
easy.
firearm information is on
On the
the
front.
one page. So it's easier to make it an optics. I forget what it's OCR.
OCR.
Mm-hmm,
Hmm.
Yeah, optics collation something, a scannable PDF.
mm-hmm.
So they could search that information in an
In
online database much
and
easier.
so in that same letter, they say they're searching the database for crime guns. And I'm like, well, if you could search for crime guns, you could search
It's
for Richard Hughes, and you can search for all the
Yeah,
guns
it's
I bought.
records. Yeah, it's records. They're kind
Yeah.
of walking on a fine line here. And there's been instances when they've shared this with different law enforcement agencies around the country, right? This is documented to have
Yeah.
happened already.
Yeah, they're using the purpose of the e-trace, and the e-trace is that if, let's say, when I was a cop, I recover a firearm on a crime scene, I run the serial number. So we would do an e-trace to ATF. ATF would then contact the manufacturer, and the manufacturer would go through their records and say, okay, we sent Glock 17 serial number 12345 to Joe Bob's FFL back on September 1st, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So then they contact Joe Bob, and Joe Bob, if he was still in business,
Mm-hmm.
because remember, if you're in business, you have to have your record, your 4473 records, and your bound book
Right.
on file for 20 years. Or if you go out of business, ATF takes all the records
Mm-hmm.
and then they store it. So then they supposedly go through that, and then they trace the firearm through its lineage of who has owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that sounds great and all. And, can it be used to solve crimes? Yeah, it can. Can it be horribly abused? Oh, hell yeah, it can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Ex-
rife
unless
for
unless you're
abuse.
Hunter
And
Biden, I mean, then it doesn't really
this,
Oh,
matter. If you're Hunter
yeah,
Biden
if you're
and
Hunter
the
Biden,
Secret
then it just gets
Service,
thrown in the trash.
yeah, just call up the Secret Service and they'll step in for you. You're all good. you know. And then
Now,
I
the
think.
biggest the
Mhm,
biggest issue I have with it,
mhm.
the biggest issue I have with it is, yeah, is it registering and tracking firearms? It is, but if you look at New Zealand when they did their gun confiscation crackdown after that shooting they had out there, New Zealand was weird. They didn't register guns. All they had to do was register gun owners. So the entire idea of there being a list of potential gun owners in of itself, even if the list is outdated, let's say in those 4473 records that ATF has, they'll have my records, but I don't have that firearm, for instance, because I might have traded it
hmm.
for something else through a private sale. But they know if they comb that, if they comb NFA records, because I own a couple of NFA firearms, if they comb the state's CCW records, they could, and also social media and everything else, they could put a pretty good algorithm together and say, yeah, this guy's a political threat. He owns firearms. We're going to make him an enemy.
Mhm.
Hmm.
They can
That's
for
the
sh-
issue.
They
That's
can
the
for
biggest.
sure know. They can for sure know what you have. I've seen instances of people, for example. I know someone that it happened to. Actually, my brother. He moved from New York to Delaware so that he could, so he can, he can actually own guns and not have an issue with that. He's a for sure gun guy. Encouraged me to do what I'm doing right now, and he wanted to be able to buy stuff and actually have those things and go shooting and all that. So he moved to Delaware, bought a bunch of guns because that's what he wanted to spend his money on. They showed up and they were like, "Yeah, we know you used to live in New York and now you live here and you have all these guns and we want to see them." Now, from what he told me, he was like, "Yeah, and I'm gonna call my lawyer," and then they dropped that, but there's agencies or they're acting like they're not sharing this info with agencies, and agencies aren't going to say, hey, this particular person, just like we're talking about there, they move from here to there, let's go see if they have stuff, let's see if they're buying stuff here and doing this or that with it. So you're technically being presumed guilty before you did anything. It's not like you bought something and then somehow it wound up in the hands of a criminal and then they're tracing it back and they're like, hey, why are you doing this? You just moved. You wanted to be free. You moved from one place to another. Oh, we got to check up on you and see what's going on with you.
That's not so.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
very
police
much so.
state intimidation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
California, I know California does that with their Department of Justice Bureau of Firearms, whatever, and some such that
Mm-hmm.
they go after people like that, even people out of state. That to the point that if you recently moved from California to like Arizona or Nevada, they still keep tabs on you.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, they send agents across the border to keep tabs on Californians that purchase ammunition in their state and crosses
Mm-hmm.
back over. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Oh, jeez.
You do have Gestapo like
Yeah.
Stasi tactics. I mean,
Yeah.
the
You know what so one of the things I heard, and I think it was Guns and Gadgets talking about this. I don't know if you guys are talking about it, Rich, with John Crump. So now the ATF is hiring a bunch of dudes, right? So that they can go out there and, for example, if they did a trace like Lewis was talking about and you didn't respond, they can pull your license and all that stuff from you, right? Did you hear about that?
No,
yeah
no.
Yeah.
yeah. So
What's going on with that, Lewis?
so ATF has I don't remember the extreme details of it, but ATF basically has two types of agents. They have an administrative agent. They have field agents that carry guns and have arrest powers and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the administrative agents, they're the ones that they go to an FFL and, they do the yearly checkup of, hey, is your bound book in order? Do you have your 4473 on file? Is your inventory matching your records? All that jazz. Now, supposedly, these guys are going to FFLs and they're pulling shenanigans on making copies of records, on pulling to threaten their stuff, on demanding records to show what's going on with sales and all that jazz. They're acting as an intelligence gathering organization. They're collecting intel to track gun owners and guns.
Yeah, and I think especially I know that ATF has always had a hard on for the home based FFLs that are out there as well. So if they could find a reason to pull licenses and things like that, they're gonna do that. And if you remember from I don't know at this point how many years ago Crump put that out, this is what they were talking to Biden about, right? What can they do? What's on their
Yeah.
wish list? And one of the things on that wish list is to make it more difficult for people to even be FFLs.
Yeah, it's a repeat of the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
The Clinton administration did that. Back then they were called kitchen table FFLs. They were
Mm-hmm.
home-based FFLs. That was one of the things that the Clinton administration did, was made it to where, you had to be in an area that was licensed for business because of zoning, because of this.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do everything administratively that
Yeah.
they couldn't do under the legislature because one of the most horrible pieces of federal legislation, in my opinion, was the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. And that was when Congress passed a law that basically said, you know what, writing laws and making it actually mean something, that's no longer our job. We're just going to write a law and we're going to let the executive branch determine
Mm-hmm.
on how to enforce it.
Mm-hmm.
And that has given tremendous power to agencies like the EPA, the ATF, OSHA,
Mm-hmm.
the FAA, all the CDC and
Mm-hmm.
the USDA, all of these different administrative agencies that have regulatory authority.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And this is one of the funny things. When I was a cop, one of the things I did was I conducted fraud investigations. And
Mm-hmm.
under state law, we were able to go into a business and conduct a an administrative check to see if they had their workers' comp coverage and all that. We would
Mm-hmm.
call our administrative side of the department, and we'd say, "Hey, do a records check on this place. Make sure that they have their workers' comp coverage. Make sure that they have proof
They're
of coverage and
yeah, or the
the
license,
correct employees."
right? Or the what
Yeah,
is it? The retail license, or
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
bunch of
That
things.
that type of
Yeah,
stuff. And the
right.
moment that there was a red flag,
Mm-hmm.
that would be our in to go and conduct a criminal investigation
Mm-hmm.
Oh
because it was
shoot!
like, aha, you're in violation of state administrative law. Now the door has opened.
Mm-hmm.
And ATF does the same thing. They do the same exact thing. They will write and change policy for an FFL on purpose and make it more convoluted and more hard for them to follow so they could specifically get them on something and then open up a criminal investigation or just simply put
Wow.
them out of business through administrative policy by fines and say, oh, well, you violated fine X and fine Y and fine 123 or policy 123, under administrative code, this and
Mm-hmm.
that. And you either could pay the fine or we're
Mm-hmm.
going to pull your license.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
revenues.
Tactics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
That's not so.
Yeah.
So Hank,
I've
I don't
seen
know
that
if this
happen.
is
What's up?
too personal, but
Mm-hmm.
you're a home FFL.
Mm-hmm.
How is compliance and
What do you mean by that?
don't they come by and want to check all your
Um.
firearms and
I haven't seen it since I've been in FFL, and that's been I think we've been doing that for at least 4 years, if not longer than that. We keep all
Mhm.
the records and everything like that, but I don't think they do it as much for the home based FFLs, at least not here in Florida, or at least in the area that I'm in. I think there might be some places they do it more than others, from what I see, and there are people who do get visited. So I know when I talked to Walter, by the way, from Safety Harbor Firearms, yeah, he gets visited a lot more regularly than I do. However,
so
we keep our records and all that kind of stuff because you're supposed to do that, and also you're supposed to be showing them that you're doing this as a business, and we have all the licenses and all that stuff. Yeah.
because one thing that people say, they're like, well, I don't want to do a home FFL
Mhm.
because then the ATF can come and search my home.
They can. I mean, I think the purpose of, like, we're an FFL SOT. And even when they came to do the inspection before they gave us that, they look to see like where the business. I don't think they want to get into your personal business. They
Hmm.
basically came to look to see where we're conducting business, all that kind of stuff. I believe you're allowed to conduct business at your home and then also at any gun show that
Hmm.
happens here in Florida. So I think that maybe if you give them a reason or something like that, if you're a home based FFL, at least here in Florida, in this area that I live in, then they'll go after you or check up on you more. And then maybe if you're a manufacturer or something like that, like the situation Walter's in. But sometimes these things just happen. As even Lewis said, sometimes you just get flagged, right? It's like what happened with us on YouTube. If you look at what's happening with YouTube, once I came on their radar and they started talking to me, it was more detrimental,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because now they always check on me. Now I'm one of those people that every kind of check goes through, and that's why even though I put up videos on the main YouTube channel and the podcast channel, those videos are severely, like suppressed because they're
Hmm.
paying attention to you. So once they have a reason to do that, then they pay more attention. And that could be it. But at the end of the day, they can come whenever they want to. They're gonna make an appointment and all that with you. So I don't
One,
think it's a reason to not do it. But it's expensive. So that's the big
one of the
reason why I
things
tell
that a
people
lot of people
to
don't
think about it.
realize
Go ahead.
one of the big things that people don't realize is because of administrative law and how
Mm-hmm.
they're able to do this is they forget plain view doctrine. And plain
Mm-hmm.
view doctrine is the legal theory that if I'm there conducting an investigation for something else, or if I'm just simply there and I see something that gives me probable cause to conduct a criminal investigation, and it was in plain view of me being there, congratulations, you have no um, uh, constitutional protection for that. It's as if ATF is there conducting a records check and they see, and I'm not saying you have it, but they see a
Mm-hmm.
kilo of Coke sitting on your dining
Mm-hmm.
room table when they walk in.
Right, right.
Now they're going to be like, well, there we go.
What's up
You
with
know,
that? Yeah,
what's up with that? But I mean,
right.
it's the whole thing of if you are a private citizen, they shouldn't be able to come into your house in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But they use administrative law by simply saying,
Mhm.
okay, if you want to conduct business,
Mm-hmm.
you have to sign and waive your rights, and we could come in.
Yeah, I mean that's part
Yep.
and parcel with it. So like how I was saying to you guys earlier in this conversation, we got like 45 seconds here. Like I was saying earlier that I'm going to do the technician's license for the ham radio. That's actually the same thing. So if you get that license and you're a ham radio operator, and technically the FCC can come visit you if they want to, if they feel like you're doing something that you shouldn't be
Yeah,
doing, they'll come visit you. Do they really want to? I don't think so. And I think it's the same probably with the ATF. If I had a lot of weird activity for a home base thing, maybe they'll come visit me, or if I gave them some other reason, or they trace something back, I think. But that's if you want to do business, this is what it takes. We're gonna take a quick break here, and we'll be right back. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization like TUSC Crypto. TUSC cryptocurrency is a firearm-friendly e-commerce option for online payment transactions, secured on the blockchain. So when you're in the crypto market, please consider TUSC, TUSC. All right, so we're back here. Speaking of TUSC that we just showed there, and they do sponsor us. I was talking to Rob McNeely of TUSC by text. That's why he was trying to get through to me. Like I was saying, GOA. We have Louis Valdes here from GOA. So GOA and TUSC have a thing going on. Do you know about this, Louis? GOA is
I
accepting TUSC.
I know about this, but I'm not at liberty to completely discuss it. But I
Right,
could say
right.
that we have a very good relationship going with them. They recently donated a nice chunk of change to us, and I want to say thank you for that because we one we're not rolling in dole. We're not like some other organizations with hundreds of millions of dollars. We try to spend our money very wisely, and
Mm-hmm.
we try to put every penny towards the fight. I don't run around in bespoke suits in a private jet. I run around in a polo in my own personal car.
I mean, you do have a big Cuban link on. Is that a Cuban link you got on there?
Yes, it is a Cuban link. This
That's
is
your
not
own
done by
money.
GOA though.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's
Um,
sexy. You know what I'm saying? And
so
and you don't have to. You don't. At least you don't have to tuck your chain. You
no,
can.
no.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
completely off topic.
Hmm.
This Cuban link is actually part of my wife's and I's personal business. We have an online jewelry business called Victoria's Good Vibes Boutique. We named it after our daughter.
Cool.
She's the light of our life, and we named it and we called it Good Vibes because for a 2 year old, she's just full of smiles and happiness and energy and joy. And every time I look at her, she makes me smile, and every time my wife looks at her, it makes her smile because she's smiling. So we do jewelry for men, we do jewelry for women, we do stuff for kids. So yeah, we sell Cuban links, we sell the Guadalupe, the Virgin Mary, on the guy's side. On the women's side, we have bracelets and earrings and necklaces and
I'm
matching
throwing. So
sets.
this is this your store that I'm throwing up here right
Yep,
now?
that's our store.
Victoria's Good Vibes.
The wonderful model there. That is my wife, and that is my daughter. That's
Yeah.
that's our little one.
Let's
And
see. Yeah.
um,
So here you go.
we
Lots of
started
cool
this
stuff.
because we were we were both state employees, and during the pandemic, we decided, you know what, we're done with this. We're gonna head out on our own. We're gonna be our own bosses,
Hmm.
and it was frightening at first because it was like, oh man, what are we gonna do? We're,
Hmm.
we're giving up government the the wonderful thing of government employment is you could be a crappy employee and you still got job security. We're purposely getting rid of that to jump into this. So yeah, that's our business. That's what we do.
Awesome.
That's other than being GOA state director, that's what I put my passion in. And as a Cuban, I really do run around with jewelry. It's not just because I'm advertising. It's who I am. I remember last time you were asking me about the little Cuban flag I had. So,
Absolutely, yeah. It's a part of who you are. So, is it just like a Cuban focused kind of jewelry?
No.
Is it a lot of different things? Okay.
It's a lot of different things. We kind of have a Caribbean vibe to it because, we're down here in Miami. My wife's Puerto Rican. I'm Cuban. We're out of Miami. So we got a Caribbean vibe to it, but it's not just that. We carry a lot of stuff. And
Very
it's also,
cool.
it's rotating stock and inventory. So if you see something there now, 6 months from now, it might be sold out because we constantly change what we have depending on what's in style and what's in the season and also just what people like.
Yeah, if next time I need a nice little gift for Lola, I'm gonna hit you guys up.
Hell yeah, we're
Yeah,
doing
hopefully.
free shipping right now.
Yeah, hopefully I get the Hank Strange discount. I mean,
Hey, we could always do that.
yeah.
I'll make sure. I'll make sure you get the friend discount. There's an extra 20% added for you.
Right, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
That's what Walter at Safety Harbor says about the Hank Strange discount.
Add 40%, then take 20 off.
Yeah,
That's what. Whenever there's a gun show here locally, that's what one of the stores does. Man, they up their prices by like 40%, and then they're like, "Oh, we're taking 20% off for the gun show."
And that's a whole load of crap. And that's why when you go to a gun show, you need to know what you're looking at. And do you mind if I pimp something?
Absolutely.
Actually, Louis, I wanted to ask you. I'm going to have a table at the West Palm Beach Gun Show, not this weekend, but next weekend. Do you have like GOA materials you want to share?
yes.
Because I'm happy to throw that out.
I can get you a box of goodies down to you.
Awesome.
Okay. And I will be selling polymer 80s.
Okay. All right.
So we're actually starting a new program. We have a hunter outreach program specifically for that. So we have GOA just does more than typical gun owner stuff. We have a hunter outreach program. We have our empowered program, which specifically targets women because the largest growing segment of new shooters are women. We have a program just for that.
I think we had what's the name of the guy? Is it Jones? We had the
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones, yeah, we had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, I think.
And Antonia, she runs Empowered.
Yes, Antonia. Which Antonia just had another baby, right? She had a beautiful baby.
Yes,
girl,
she did, and oh my God, that's a cute little kid.
Yes, very cute. Her babies are cute. She's got cute babies, which is awesome. Congratulations to her. I didn't even realize another baby was coming, but always happy to have the babies here.
Hey, as parents, I can honestly say this. I look at my daughter and I say, thank God she got my wife's good looks, because if she got my looks, she'd be creepy.
She got some things from you. She got some things from you. It's all
she got the pooping and the farting from me. That's what she got.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's hopefully you had some better attributes to contribute to the genetic makeup there. You know what I mean? But that's cool. So just tell the folks out there. So let me get Rich. When are you going to be at that show, and where is it going to be? And then we'll get Louis to remind everyone.
West Palm Beach Fairgrounds, and that's next weekend. So that's going to be the 19th and 20th of February. So I'll be selling polymer 80s. So you want a polymer 80? You want to build your own Glock? Come on down.
Awesome. There you go. And then Louis, for the store, let me see if I can pull it up again. Is it only online that people could do this, or Victoria's Good Vibes?
Right now it's online. We're looking eventually to open up a physical storefront in the Brevard County area. Okay.
There you go. And there's your beautiful wife and very cute daughter right there in that picture.
Thank you.
She's looking. Is that you taking this picture? And she's looking real skeptical.
Yeah, that's me. She's looking at me, going like, "I know." When we took that picture, it took like 5-6 tries, and finally, I was holding her pacifier off like
Oh.
right on the camera, like, and she was looking at me like, "Don't you drop it." If you
Yeah.
drop
Oh. Yeah, she has that look on her face like, you do. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. She's like, you better not.
She's half Cuban, half Puerto Rican, so she's 100% feisty and
Oh yeah,
demanding.
yeah. And pacifiers, man. I remember, who was it? Which one of my? Oh, my older son. When he was a baby, he had this pacifier, and we lost that thing. I don't know how the hell we lost that. We had a whole bunch of different pacifiers, but he knew this specific one,
Yep.
and that he cried for weeks.
Oh no!
Yeah, we never found that thing again. I don't know where it got lost. We were living in
The
Jersey.
dog ate it.
I don't know what happened with it, but we must have dropped it, like coming out, car seat coming in out of the car or something. Man, this kid would just go and go, and no matter how many pacifiers we gave him, he would not be satisfied over that thing. And eventually
Oh, no.
he had to, yeah, it was like withdrawals or something, It's crazy. I know the pain of what happens if you lose that pacifier. Yeah, so. Night Train says, as a parent, I could say honestly, enjoy your children when they are very young, because when they get older, they turn into monsters.
Oh, dude, I only hear from my daughter when she wants money. I'm like, you need to call me when you don't need money.
Oh, okay. So then you don't want to hear from her then.
I'm like, yeah, well, no, you need to call me once in a while when you don't need money.
Yeah.
I saw a video, where a child gets the cochlear implants and they listen to their parents' voices the first time.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And those videos are heartbbreaking. But I read one of the comments, and someone put in the comments, "My kid's not deaf; she's just 13." And I was just like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do."
Yeah, you guys that have girls, man. Look, if you have boys, there's a stage where that's kind of dangerous, where you kind of worry with boys. But you have girls, and there's that stage, which is a totally, different thing, that you worry about. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, when my kids were young, man, they loved me. They were awesome, all about their dad. They get older, don't know you. Unless it's
No,
like,
they only want the keys to the Audi. You're cool when you loan them the
yeah.
keys.
Something needs to be fixed. Something has to get paid for.
So,
But mine are relatively good. Mine are good kids.
So speaking of kids and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all purchased, that first gun for our kids. I'm curious, what are some of your fans here, you folks that have kids? What was the first gun you got your kid?
Oh, good question. Yeah, let us know in the chat with the first guns you
I'll
got
tell
for
you.
kids.
Can I tell a story I heard yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan Vinro from JSD, they had. I'm not sure if this was the Oaks, Pennsylvania. I actually went to that event. Jordan, and I know GOA works with Jordan and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl. I forget how old the girl was. I think she was like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They bought a P80 kit. She built it,
Mm.
and then they went to the range to shoot it on the same day.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah. That is very nice. Yeah, I think you got to get your kids. I remember the first guns that I bought specifically for the kids were Red Ryder BB guns. That was the first guns my boys got, just to see if they'd be responsible, which they shot out windows. They shot each other. They broke every single freaking rule. Immediately. Went through all the rules.
I'll be right back in this time.
Yeah. They got punished. they got spankings, everything, and they still kept going. And then I would take the guns away from. Eventually, because I waited until they got responsible, and then I took them to 22 training and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but basically, there are guns that I buy, and I know I'm going to keep those guns for my kids. There's certain guns that I have, like some Henrys and things like that. And of course, my bullpup collection. At some point, when I'm building up my bullpup collection, and when I kick off the planet, then that belongs to those guys.
Oh,
So,
they have a love of the bullpup also?
they like guns in general,
Mm-hmm.
They don't. There's no specific thing. They just like to see whatever cool stuff I have and shoot it and all
Because
that. So.
I've only seen your boys in one video, and that was
Mhm.
shooting the Safety Harbor 50.
Yeah, I have lots of video of them shooting, but I tended, I didn't put a lot of that stuff out, especially when they were younger and in school and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But I don't have any problem. Like they're older now, so I don't have any problem showing them. But they've done a lot of shooting. They've shot full auto and all that. When years ago, when Lola and I went to the Bullpup convention in Kentucky, the boys went with us. So there's
Oh, cool.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's video out there of them shooting full auto and different things. They've been in different videos that I've done. So I just never like highlighted it, you know. I didn't want to make a big thing about them and what they do, you know. And the same thing with
Hmm.
Lola. That's really Lola shoots all the time, but you know, she doesn't necessarily because of what she does, she doesn't necessarily want to put it out there and have
Oh,
someone
see, I
using
like
it and
watching
such.
Lola shoot because when she likes it, she has a big smile on her face,
Right.
like she's shooting
Mhm.
full auto or she's shooting that crank Gatling gun.
Mhm. Yeah.
She just has a big laugh and a big smile. I just love that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. What did you get here, Lewis? What you got? What you got?
So I still have my first gun,
Oh,
a
wow.
20 gauge single shot Harrington Richardson that my
H&R.
father got me for
Okay.
Christmas when I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember the first time I shot it. We went duck hunting. I was about 6, 7 years old, and after the hunt, he says, "Okay, you know what you're doing." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I've seen you do this a million times." So I get it, load it, close the action, all that jazz, shoulder it.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I'm 6 years old, and he's like, "Okay, now you have to shoulder it tight." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." Cock it,
Uh-huh.
shoot it, and the hammer goes right across my cheek
Oh,
Oh.
and knocks me
oh.
square on my butt. And my father has this look on his face like, "Oh my God, my son is going to hate guns forever."
Mm-hmm.
And I just look up at him and I'm just like, "Let's do it again."
Yeah. There you go. Get right back on the horse.
I'm like, "Let's do it again." Like, that was fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. And, my kid is only 2 years old, but I can't wait for her to shoot her first gun. And I
Mm-hmm.
already have it. I have a little single shot Winchester, a pre 68 of all things. So it doesn't
Hmm.
have the serial number. I'm
Oh,
starting
cool.
her off right. I'm starting her
Mm-hmm.
off right.
Wow.
Nothing to gain, nothing
Yeah.
to track.
Yeah. I mean, so
But
Ribbit. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
so that's what I got for her, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait till she gets to experience that.
Yeah, Ribbit 666 says mostly rifles and 22 LR, 9mm for girls, and oldest boy 556. Armin and Axis says Lola is better shot than Hank, by the way, laugh out loud. There you go. Women are naturally better, but there's a difference between being accidental at something and being deliberate. So, the true professional is deliberate, and I'm very deliberate. That's what anyone who's deliberate, that makes you really dangerous. If you're accidentally dangerous, it's not as good as being deliberate. That's what I would say. So, being like a lot of women do have all the natural proclivities to being good shooters. That's true, and they're also probably better listeners
What?
and more coachable, probably. Except I always have a tough time coaching Lola in anything
Wait,
because
I was
any
going to say you haven't met my wife, but you have.
yeah, anything I say to Lola is, she believes immediately the opposite of that. So,
Oh,
uh,
so we'll call that the Lola principle.
yeah. But what I was gonna say about my kids when I got them those Red Ryder BB guns, my older son, so people who look at my videos, they see there's what looks like an ambulance on the hacienda, which is really like a shed that we keep out there that has emergency stuff and. We keep a bunch of things out there. It's kind of like a
And squirrels.
yeah. Well, the reason why is because he shot the window out of that thing. So I made him fix up the window, but obviously, it doesn't last forever. He uses what's the name of that company that makes that stuff? They're here in Florida, and they make the stuff you could patch up like boats. You could put something
Oh,
seal,
Flex Seal?
Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
Yeah, so he got a bunch of Flex Seal stuff and sealed up that window, but it doesn't. Like, I should have done, like, some kind of video about all of that, but it's good. It doesn't last forever. So the last time he was here, he was actually staying with us with his girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, you need to take your butt out there and go fix that window up again. So if you come here to shoot either Lewis or Rich, you guys will see that it's fixed up right now, and then we'll see how long it takes before it gets torn down again by the frickin' squirrels out there. But those things are no joke. We live in nature. Even if you lived, I think, in the city, you have problems. Like right now, my car is in the shop because something went and chewed up a bunch
Oh,
of wires in my car. So, yeah, you know,
I'd lose my mind.
uh, yeah,
So
I mean,
I
I
just sent
park
you something.
outside. I don't have an overhang,
mm-hmm,
and my car gets covered in pollen and all that. But
mm-hmm,
no critters are climbing in it that I
yeah.
know of.
This is the wife shooting, huh? This is you and the wife
This is
shooting?
this is the wife shooting. This was her attending FPS training with John Murphy.
Oh,
He's an
oh, she
excellent
got that.
firearms instructor.
Is that a
First
holster?
aid kit. First
Oh,
aid
first
kit.
aid. Okay, first aid kit. Let's see. What's this other good stance? Yeah. So you
Yes.
don't you so were you doing this training too, or just her?
No, I was doing the training too. I decided to
Okay.
do it with a 6-inch end frame Smith and Wesson and 357 Magnum, just because
Mm-hmm.
I had to be me. Everyone else was there with Glocks, and I'm like, I'm going to show up with a
Oh
highway
boy.
patrolman from the damn 1960s. And uh, John and FPF training, they looked at me like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my god, we
Mm-hmm.
have this class designed around Glocks, and you're showing up with this." I'm like, "Don't worry, I'll keep up." And I sure as hell did. He was by the end of it, he was impressed. He's never seen anyone run a revolver and
Wow.
use speed
Speed
loaders.
loaders. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay, you actually know your shit."
Yeah,
But
I would say for the guys who know what they're doing with those guns, you don't want to go. It's like people don't think a lot about 1911s for personal defense and all that, right? There are folks out there until you see a guy who can compete with a 1911, like and run that thing like a machine gun and change those mags without you even noticing that they got changed. Which I've seen guys do it, and I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, it's how you use it. Use whatever you want to, whatever you feel comfortable with, and if you become accustomed to running that thing, I don't think anyone wants to go up against you. So, and I'm sure you don't want to go up against Lewis in that case either. I think we're gonna take a break here. We're gonna be right back. There are some pictures that someone sent to me I want to share since I've got some stuff here. I'll share that with you guys now. Oh, actually, yeah, we didn't do a break there because I didn't make it. I got to make that thing. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Where are those? So Edward Andrews sent me some pictures here, and so let me see. What is this we're gonna look at? So he says, "Hey brother, hope all is well with you and yours. My Andrews custom leather finally showed up for this Sig 1911. He said he waited a year and 2 months. Well worth the wait." And I'm gonna share that with you. So Andrews custom leather. I've done a lot of videos on the channel. First of all, let's take a look at that Sig. Very good looking. Edward Andrews
very
has
nice.
some. Yeah, he's got some really nice guns. Speaking of 1911s, Olight. There's an Olight on there too, by the way. And if you guys want an Olight, we have a link somewhere that you can get Olights from. So here goes the holster. This looks like black leather here. Oh, I like the grips on this. It's very nice. And there you go. That's another. So very cool. So he just got that today. So congratulations to him getting his Andrews custom leather. You know, are you guys into leather holsters or not? I'm kind of like I've
I
got leather and Kydex.
Yeah, I got both.
Okay, there you go. Leather. Lewis is a leather
All I wear
guy.
is
See,
leather.
Okay. Yeah.
if it's IWB, I want leather.
Okay. Just more comfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. Oh, what's this? Oh, this is your thing. Street. Lewis Valdes. Street encounter skills and tactics. This is
Yep,
what you used right here.
that's what I used. A 6-inch end frame
Oh yeah.
357 Magnum.
Ah. Okay. That is old school. I didn't think it was. Okay, that's badassery, Lewis. I'm not gonna lie. Respect to that out there. Yeah, so if people out there are looking for leather holsters, go to Sam Andrews Custom Leather. You have to actually like call them up and order those things. There's stuff online. I've got a bunch of videos showing you guys different materials, different things you could do. Stingray's my favorite. It's great for like a gift, you know, if you want to get a gift or something like that. And when you guys call up Sam, you know, just tell him you know me when you call him up.
So
So,
last
mhm,
time, I don't know if it was the last time you had Sam Andrews on, he was
mhm,
making holsters for another movie.
right. hmm
That,
Yeah,
that's got to be crazy demanding.
yeah, he does a lot of movies, including he had something that was in a movie that got very infamous recently. That was big news.
Oh,
I think he just had one thing in that situation, but yeah. I'm not sure if that might be for public consumption. I don't know, but yeah, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The biggest
yeah, it took me a
gun
minute.
movie thing that you could think of that happened recently. But he does a lot of movies, TV shows, stuff like that. I'm supposed to be going and seeing him and doing some videos with him. I have a massive video that I'm editing with Sam Andrew right now, where he's making this holster. So far, right now, that's a 4-hour project.
4 hour video.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I think I had to I got a new computer, and I think I have to switch that whole thing over to the new computer because it's massive. So what I'm gonna do is do some shorter videos the next time I go see him, because that's like epic. I've done big videos with Sam Andrews, I think, that are hour and a half, maybe even approaching 2 hours. I don't want that thing to be 4 hours at all, but it's
Well,
really good
unless you
stuff
break it
too.
up into 4 parts.
Yeah, believe it or not, breaking it up is even more difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes it's easy to just put the stuff out there. But he's a master craftsman, and I try to get as much as I can out there just for the future mostly, right? Because having someone like Sam talk to you, the funny thing for anyone who looks at those videos, I don't know if people realize this. Sam plans that out a little bit, but it's pretty much happens the way that you see it being shot. We don't do retakes or anything like that. So he's been doing this so long and is so aware of what he's doing. He does think ahead of time of me coming there and making the video, but I show up, we set up cameras, and he starts talking.
And I guess what I
So,
think is amazing is as hot as it gets he's in St. Augustine, right?
right, yeah. hmm
In St. Augustine, he's got no air conditioning running in the shop.
Well, they can't really run it because of all the chemicals. So they do have
Yeah,
vents and fans, but the best way to vent all those different chemicals that are being used is just open the door. I mean, AC would mess you up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the glues are pretty strong, and the other like leather treatments and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not really conducive to having an AC. So they have fans and they have vent fans and things like that there, but typically they open up a garage door, and that's how we do it. 42 Chill
I'm
says he makes
betting
great holsters.
I'm betting he's enjoying this time of year
Yes, I'm pretty
where
sure.
it's not crazy hot.
Yeah. And if I can go to Instagram, let's see here. If I can go to Instagram, I can show you guys some of his stuff. He's Andrew's Custom Leather. I'll just pull that up here real quick so you all could see what kind of stuff that he's doing here. So check that out.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
told
That's
you
Gator.
that
Ooh.
I'm gonna
hmm
have to get something for a barbecue gun
hmm
when we get constitutional carry passed in Florida. I need
Oh
something to
yeah.
celebrate. Really.
Yeah, Sam does great stuff, man. He does a lot of the whole. If you ever look at Cabot Guns, he does a lot of the stuff at Cabot Guns. He also has leather that you can do grips of your 1911. So that right there is grips that he made on that 1911. Um, yeah. So this is actually him shooting here on the Hacienda. This is his broom
Is
handle,
that
and
a
if you,
C96 Mauser?
yep, and he's
That
doing
is a
that on the
C96.
Hacienda, and look, that's a hat he makes right there too. It's a gator on the hat. But yeah, this is I think this was a gun show or something that they must have done in somewhere here in Florida. So yeah, if you want to check out all the different options and things that you can do, you can check that out. Andrew's Custom Leather. Look for my videos. He's got a lot of really nice stuff. And yes, he's done a lot of movies that you guys have seen out there, especially those cowboy movies that are out there nowadays. a lot of those that you see, even the TV shows, he's done a lot of the holsters in there. So, did anyone have any other Gorn that you guys wanted to show here? What other guns have you bought any?
Well, I was
Yeah, go
wondering if
ahead.
you could bring back up
Hmm.
that alert I sent you,
Oh,
so I could
right.
go over that
Yes,
again.
absolutely. Let's do that. Hold on. I'll go back here. Here we go. So I'll go full screen with this so that we could put it up here.
Yeah.
Boom.
So this was a national alert we sent out.
Hmm.
And again, if you don't live in Florida, you could actually carry a lot of weight in Florida to get constitutional carry passed. Call Governor DeSantis and email him and tell him that if constitutional carry was to pass in Florida, you would visit Florida more often or you would even move here.
Hmm.
Because again, only 36% of Floridians are born in Florida. We are the most populated, we are the most growing state. If you look at the United Van Lines and Atlas and all of the moving companies, they always send out a report every year. And the mass migration coming to Florida is immense. If you guys call the governor and make it an issue, because remember, he wants to run in 2024 for the White House,
Yeah,
he will be judged on his Second Amendment stance. If you make it an issue for him, he will push constitutional carry to the legislature. Again,
absolutely.
you guys outside of Florida can help us get that here.
Yes, I totally agree with that. If people want to get that online, how do they do it? Just one more time,
Um,
remind the folks if they
They
want
can
to.
just go to gunowners.org. It's right now on our homepage as a national alert. But on top of that, if they're on our subscription list and they're a member, they will get that as an email alert. They will get
Hmm.
that specifically from me because I'm the guy that wrote it. I'm the state director,
Hmm.
and when I send out these alerts, we send them out to state. If you're in Florida, I send out Florida specific alerts, and if you're
Okay,
a GOA
that's what
member,
I
you
get.
get
Hmm.
alerts. And we sent that out as a national alert
Hmm.
to all of our members because we understand, and I mean this, our national motto is E pluribus unum, out of many one. I'm just one guy in Florida. I can't do it by myself, but with all of you, we could get this done.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say that I know we said this already, so we're just echoing it now. But you really have to pay attention. You have to be careful. You have to don't think that it's good enough to just elect Republicans, elect conservatives, or even I don't want to get crazy into it because I know GOA as a practice stays away from that. But even there's organizations that you might think are a pro gun here in Florida, and they don't necessarily hold up to that. That's me saying it. Don't put that on anyone else. That's me, Hank Strange, saying that there are organizations here that you would think that those people are pro Second Amendment. They aren't necessarily. All of those people that I mentioned need to feel the pressure. The organizations, the politicians as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
people have to hold their officials' feet to the fire. And look, I say this as the GOA state director. If I'm doing bad, I want you guys to put pressure on me so I do better. Because again, I don't represent gun owners. I simply amplify your voices. And if I'm doing a bad job, I need to know about it.
I think you're
Don't
doing a
just
great
say,
job,
"Oh,
man.
well, it's going to." No,
Yeah.
treat me as if I was an elected official.
Hmm.
Hold my feet to the fire and make sure I do my job right so I could put the pressure on our lawmakers. But you guys could do that individually. You guys could put that direct pressure on our lawmakers too. Hold their feet to the fire. You see a state rep or a state senator in public, go up to them and just flat out say constitutional carry, yes or no. Put them on the spot. Governor DeSantis is at any speaking engagement. Be polite, be civil, but put him on the spot. Just say, hey, if he's there, any questions from the crowd? Hey, I got one. Constitutional carry. Where is it?
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah. We needed to
Make it
make
an issue.
we needed to make news. I try to post about this um, all the time on social media. It's probably one of the reasons why I get severely shadow banned on the social medias out there. But I try to put because we need to do something to make these guys aware of it, right? I could spend a lot of time just showing my beautiful gun collection or any of the other awesome things that I have, but I try to do that as much as I can because We really do need these guys to feel the pressure. And what people could do is share that, repost it. You could I'll let Lewis get into in a second here. Tell you all how you can follow him on social media. I know that FlyingRich does this as well. There's a lot of good stuff going on. You can follow GOA and any other organization that you like on social media. We've got a question here from Armament and Axes. He gave me $5. He says, "Is Lewis related to Juan Valdes, the coffee commercial guy? Laugh out loud. Who remembers that?" So,
I remember that, and no, I'm not related to him. But here's an even stranger fact: I am a Cuban American, and I don't drink coffee daily.
Oh wow, okay,
And
interesting.
that,
Even
that's
I
something-
drink coffee now. I never drank coffee before, but now I drink coffee every single day.
I stopped drinking coffee when I stopped working the midnight shift as a cop. And since then, I haven't touched the stuff. I only have it when I put rum in it on special occasions.
Nice.
But
nice.
as an everyday drink, I stopped drinking coffee.
Yeah. In the chat here, you guys will find a link to Blackout Coffee. That's right. Go look for that
So,
link. It's all
Lewis,
the way
no
up the-
cortaditos, none of that.
It's all the way
Yeah,
up
man.
top.
No cortadito, no coladas. My wife looks at me strange
Oh,
because she
man.
drinks like a gallon of coffee a day, and every day I go pick up a cortadito for her.
Yeah.
But then again, she looks at me and she says, "You're the only Cuban that listens to country and rock and roll, can't dance with it, and doesn't drink coffee. What's wrong with you?"
No, Lola got me into coffee, and that's why there's a link up there for Blackout Coffee. You guys should check it out. If Blackout Coffee /Hank, you can use the 10% off code. And I do, and you know what? I like hot chocolate. That's typically what I always did. They have like a strong hot chocolate. My favorite thing
How is that?
Their chocolate is awesome, man. It's like real chocolate, and I mix that with the coffee. That's what I do. But
mix it with Bacardi. Just mix it with Bacardi, and it'll make it even better. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
I like where Lewis is going.
Yeah,
Hank doesn't drink.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? Yeah, I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking.
For me, the way I do coffee now is I'll get a Cuban coffee. I'll mix it with either Bailey's or Kahlua, or I'll do a Bacardi coconut rum.
Yeah.
That's right.
When I used to spend some time, in South Beach. I used to go to Calle Ocho and get the Cuban coffee. That stuff is pretty strong. Yeah.
There's a reason why we serve it in little tiny glasses, man. Little tiny shot cup.
For real. Yeah. And what's weird, like I could tell if coffee, because like regular coffee just makes me go to sleep. But a good coffee keeps me awake. Like that Cuban coffee, man. And what is that like? I think the Cuban coffee is mixed with, is it condensed milk that's in there?
Yeah, it's condensed or evaporated milk most of the time. That's
yeah.
So Cuban coffee is done like an espresso. It goes through that fancy steam machine and all that. But it's just really high octane, high caffeinated coffee with condensed milk and a crap ton of sugar. It's,
right.
I don't know about this stuff.
Yeah, that was before Red Bulls.
I grew up on the stuff, and the reason why I stopped drinking it is kidney stones, because I would drink that stuff constantly on midnight shifts as a cop, and I developed kidney stones, and my doctor was like, "No, it's caffeine that's doing it." And I'm like, "Oh." So
it wasn't the donuts.
No, it wasn't the donuts. It wasn't not eating. It wasn't the fried food. It was the coffee. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's what the doctor told me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and by the way, Juan Valdes is in Colombia. From my understanding, Juan Valdes was in Colombia. And what was that?
Also, he spells his last name with a Z, not an S.
With the Z, yeah. There you go. But yes, I do remember those commercials. That was the 80s.
What coffee company was that?
Wasn't that? Oh my God! I could see it. I could see the label. It's got like the Colombian mountains in the background.
Yeah,
wasn't it Colombia?
He's riding on the little. He's riding on the little mule. He has.
Yeah, wasn't that Colombian coffee? Wasn't that like just coffee from Colombia? Hold on, let me look.
There's Juan Valdes coffee store, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah, it used to be Juan Valdes International Coffee Guy. That was the slogan.
Yeah, it was for. Hold on a second.
But I see coffee now branded, and I
Yeah,
see his
cafe.
picture.
But it's for so right here. Yeah, if you Google it, it's for Colombia. I think that was a commercial for Colombia. See,
Oh, so
Juan
it's
Valdez.
Cafe de Colombia. Okay.
Yeah, Juan Valdez is a fictional character who has appeared in advertisements for the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia since
Ah,
1958, representing a Colombian coffee farmer. But there's lots of other places that coffee comes from as well as Colombia. So, for example, where Lola's from Ghana, and Ghana is very much known for coffee as well as cocoa and gold, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, and I was born in Guyana in South America, and that's very known for gold. Like that, like the gold from Guyana is not. It's a darker. It's not really yellow. It's almost like a darker kind of brownish.
Really?
Yeah, if you look at that gold, I think it's considered 18 karat, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
I don't
no,
know.
they're known for their quality of gold. Since we've
Yeah,
gotten into the jewelry business, we've been looking at it, and the stuff that comes out of there is amazing.
I would love to
So
get some Guyanese. I do have like a small ring that I had that I think came from one of my grandparents, some kind of gold they had, and then my parents made like little rings for us, and mine, I
Oh,
still have
wow.
mine. I think my brother swallowed theirs or something.
Ooh.
so so this
So,
came from Brazil. So this
oh,
is
okay,
all Brazilian gold here.
yeah. So is the gold from? I know we might be running a little late here, but this, you're reminding me of something here. Is the Guyanese gold more expensive? I'm assuming it is.
From what I've seen, gold pretty right now. Gold's just
It's up.
crazy expensive, but
Yeah, it's up.
it's the quality of the Guyanese gold that it doesn't have to
Hmm.
be refined or smelted as
Hmm.
much or something about that, and also that it's a little darker in color.
Hmm.
They could do different things with it. So when you see rings that have multi bands of gold and it's a different shade, that's how they do it. So they'll get like regular stuff, and then they get the Guyanese gold, and they make
Hmm.
it look nicer.
Yeah, and I actually have some of my uncles. One of my uncles specifically has a bunch of gold mines and diamond mines in Guyana, but he lives in the Bronx, so that'll give you an idea of what's going on with that. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's suffering, but he actually lives in the Bronx and he's a preacher.
Yeah.
I saw him at my mom's memorial the last time I saw him. So yeah, it's a weird thing happening there. China is buying up all the natural resources of lots of countries, including in Guyana. So, all right. So listen, what I'm gonna do here. We're at the end of the show. I want to definitely thank Flying Rich as well as Louis Valdez of GOA for coming in. I'm gonna give these guys a chance to tell you all how you can communicate with them, follow them on social media. I'm gonna start with my friend Louis. Tell the folks out there how they can get in contact with you as well if they need to do that.
So the best way to get in contact with me is you could either go straight through GOA, go to gunowners.org/join. Again, you join GOA and you get on our email list. I'm also on Facebook, so you can just look me up, Louis Valdez. GOA has a specific Florida group, Gun Owners of America /Florida. So you could look me up on that. That's a good way to get in contact with me. If you want to email me, again, you could just email me directly through GOA. So that's not an issue. Again, just go to gunowners.org and you could get my contact information from there. And completely different, but if, again, Victoria's Good Vibes, that's our family business, and it's just victoriasgvb.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I will throw it up here on the screen again for folks so they can see it. That's what the website looks like, right?
Yep, that's the
Is
website.
is it on Facebook and Instagram, or is it
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah. We have a store on Facebook and all that too.
Yeah, if you tag me on Facebook or something, I'll repost that. Um, so Flying Rich, same question
So,
goes to you here. Hmm.
yep. Yeah, so you can find me on youtube.com/flyingrich. On Instagram, it's flyingrich_official and flyingrich.com. And if you find me at the West Palm
Hmm.
Beach Gun Show, where
Hmm.
I'll be selling Polymer 80s, I may give you a patch.
Okay, very awesome. And hold on a second here. I think we're getting Rob McNeely coming in here for a second. So
Breaking in.
if you guys have time, let's give Rob a chance here to
Yeah.
tell us exactly what went on with with the GOA TUSC
Let,
situation.
let, let Rob know I need to get paid for my camera operation.
Oh,
Dude, you already were paid. What are you talking about?
I know. Yeah.
I
Rob,
bought you
I just want to
something. I'm
say
pretty
thank you
sure I
again.
bought you something.
I got a
I just want
T-shirt.
to say thank you again.
Yeah.
But I thought I bought you something else, dude. Didn't I buy you something?
You bought lunch.
Yeah. Let's forget
See?
about Flying Rich for a second here. We're here to talk about GOA and TUSC. Rob, so tell us, obviously we've got Flying Rich here, but we also have Luis Valdes of he's the Florida State Director for GOA. So I know
Oh,
some stuff happened with you today in relation to GOA. You want to tell folks about that?
all I know is this: is shortly after I posted the GOA press release, which we've been waiting on, and so excited and proud to be a partner with GOA now. Um, all of a sudden, the TUSC network and several other Twitter accounts got banned. No
Wow.
warning,
Mm-hmm.
and it says we violated community standards. Community standards for using accounts to amplify or suppress something in
Okay, I
some
mean,
nefarious way. I've never heard of this. Now, here's the interesting thing. So, my wife and I jointly we have like 6 or 7 Twitter accounts, but they're all legitimate.
mm-hmm.
And they banned accounts. So they banned the TUSC official that has about 12,000 followers on it. They banned
Oh,
the crappy art, which is our NFT project that has about 1,200 followers on it.
Mm-hmm.
They banned our off-chain events, which is the prepping crypto conference we organize,
Mm-hmm.
and they banned Ready Rhino, which is the Twitter account for our block producer on the TUSC network. Now, here's the interesting thing: we haven't used the Ready Rhino or the off-chain event in months. No tweets at all.
So you didn't post
And so,
anything. Yeah, I know
no,
on a few of the other accounts you post stuff,
yeah.
but I mean it's all
So
legitimate stuff for what you guys are doing.
There's no arguments, no anything. We're not
Mm-hmm.
pimping anything weird. And in fact, if you look at you can't look at it now, but the TUSC Twitter account, we just post basic project updates.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
so
debate on there. Gone,
Rob, did
all
you
of them.
post like on your Rob McNeely actual and TUSC actual the same content?
Oh, well, it's just Rob McNeely. Yeah, we retweeted. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't post them with duplicate posts. We generally never do that. We would only retweet content from one of the other accounts. Which weird, they didn't take down my main account, and they didn't take my wife's account down. But what it looks like is we tripped some algorithm or somebody tagged something, and it took down a bunch of them that all had a similar
But
email address
how come
attached to
this
them.
only happens when you do the GOA thing? That's what I'm saying. There's
You
other
know what?
things, and you're very active on Twitter. You have got a big personal Twitter account, don't you?
Yeah, 360,000 followers. And I've been on Twitter from almost the beginning. So my Twitter account, let's see, I'm looking at it right now. I joined in November of 2007.
Mm.
And I've never had a suspended account in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a good Twitter person. I mean, I've debated people and argued politics, but even now, I generally don't argue with people anymore. I just kind of focus on crypto and stuff. So we appealed it. We tried to appeal all those accounts, and now it's a black hole because you can't actually talk to people in Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I mean, it sucks, and it especially sucks since I think that what you and GOA were doing is a good thing. I think Lewis wanted to tell you something about that, right, Lewis?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you for the donation you made to GOA and the partnership. And for folks that don't know, this has been going on for a little while behind the scenes, and I was not part of that negotiations, but I was privy to the information. And for TUSC to put themselves on the line to support us shows where they stand as an organization and what they truly believe in liberty and freedom. Because look, cryptocurrency, it's not a GOA thing, but it is because it's freedom. The
Mm-hmm.
Second Amendment is tied to the First, it's tied to the Fourth Amendment, it's tied to liberty and freedom is this interconnected web. And for you to be shadow banned, for them to do what they did to you, just because you are supporting a pro-civil rights organization is draconian. It's despotic. They wouldn't have an issue if there was a press release saying that TUSC donated money to BLM or to the Democratic Socialists of America, but they label us as if we're some subversive organization, even though all we're promoting is literally advancing American civil rights.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Gun Owners of America is a civil rights organization. Am I incorrect on that?
No, you're completely correct. I mean, when I go before lawmakers, I flat out bring case law in Florida that says gun control was passed specifically to disarm Black Floridians.
Mm-hmm.
That's a civil rights issue.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Twitter banning TUSC from posting that now, and that's how somehow that's subversive.
All I can say is I'm not going down the conspiracy bandwagon yet.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is the timing is awfully coincidental.
You've never had anything like this in the past, right?
No.
I mean, I follow you on Twitter. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
And even the TUSC, it was the TUSC Network at TUSC Network, and that account's been up almost 4 years, and we've never had a problem with it because that account, like on my own personal account, I might be a little more obnoxious at times, though I've tried to be a lot nicer lately because I'm trying to represent the project more. But even on my personal one, that's the only account that I've ever been difficult on, or even argumentative at all. But never had a problem.
Yeah, didn't you, when you guys put up the NFT, right? Didn't you use these accounts and put up the NFT and all that, and it was okay? Because I'm pretty sure I remember.
The weird thing about this is it's not like, oh, you were harassing somebody or called someone the N-word or something ridiculous and straightforward, right? Like I can understand if we were jerks like that. It's like There's my
NFT, by the way. There's my NFT.
And
this is the NFT you guys put up. This was okay. I mean, but for some reason you do this thing on GOA and it's a problem. I know you don't want to go down that conspiracy thing, but it's kind of weird, right?
All I'm saying is they didn't just take one out. They took a bunch of accounts out, and accounts that we hadn't used in some time. And that's the thing that got me a little like, all right. So I'll read this to you. So it said crappy art, and all I did on crappy art was retweet. And by the way, that's a legitimate project. Like we have our own socials, our own website, and my email address is Rob. And here's the interesting, now that I think about it, this is weird because the crappy art, now that I think about it, they're not even the same emails.
No, you can't use the same email for Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is interesting how they ban. So the question is, how did they ban a bunch of accounts we haven't used that aren't even associated with the same emails? But it said here, violating our rules against platform manipulation and spam. You may not use Twitter services in a manner intended to artificially amplify or suppress information or engage in behavior that manipulates or disrupts people's experience on Twitter. Note, if you attempt to evade permanent suspension by creating new accounts, we will suspend your new accounts. If you wish to appeal the suspension, do this. Yeah. So, I mean, just straight up banned. And not even a warning, and they took out 5 accounts.
Rob, I can tell you, I haven't had this problem with GOA and Twitter, but I've had a problem where if people come on from GOA, when I was on YouTube, sometimes YouTube just straight up deleted the videos. Or did things to censor the videos just because we put GOA in the title. That's happened with Antonia. It's happened with multiple people. What's the name of the gentleman from GOA in California?
Sam?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sam Paredes.
Paredes.
Yeah, it happened multiple times when Sam came on, So there's something out there on the social media sphere or whatever that if GOA comes across their things, they pay a special attention to that. And I think this, I don't have any proof of what I'm saying, right? But I know that I've experienced it happening already.
Well, the thing is, dude, I even wrote a book about Twitter a long time ago, like an ebook. So it's not like I haven't been like a very active person on the platform for for a considerable amount of time now. And so that's what's really kind of frustrating to me. But they didn't ban my personal account, which I was pushing a lot in. So this is what doesn't make sense. Dude, I retweet content constantly from my accounts, but I retweet everybody else's content too. And so that's what's bizarre to me. It's
You
not
probably
like
got a
it's
lot of retweets on that, though. I'm pretty sure I retweeted it somewhere, and probably so did other people, and that brings it on the radar. That's just
yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things. And if they've got a thing for GOA, and obviously they're scared of GOA, I mean, we've seen that already in the past here, that there's
What I wonder, what I
Mhm.
can only wonder, did somebody report it? Because usually that often happens where if you can get away with a lot of shit, and then if someone decides to report your thing, then you're the one they're going to slam.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's frustrating, and I'm more frustrated because like the TUSC account, that was hard to build because that's a legitimate project
Mhm.
account. Those are all legitimate followers. We never bought followers. Those are people that genuinely wanted to follow the project. That's the one that bothers me the most
Mhm.
because that's like that just sucks. And now
Hope
it's like
Hopefully you get it back, man. It does suck. And we're kind of at the tail end here, so I'm not trying to rush you, but I'm glad that you did come on
no,
so we can
no,
get
that's all
it
right.
up. What are do you have alternates on other platforms that you want to tell folks about that maybe they can find right now if they
Oh,
want to?
we I try to stiff. We're on all the platforms, including
Hmm.
Minds. So we have a group
Hmm.
on Minds, Minds.com.
Yeah.
Just do a search for Tusk on Minds.com. We
Yeah,
also
I'll
have
search TUSC right now on there. I know I'm following right, is it
I
this
think you're following.
is it TUSC merch? No, that's a different
That's a community members
yeah.
account,
Are you on
but
Getter?
I am not on Getter.
Okay.
Um, but I'm trying. I'm trying to stay away from centralized platforms as much as
Hmm.
possible, even if they're
Hmm.
right
Hmm.
wing. Um, but
Getter has a bunch of rules too, man. To be honest
Yep.
with you,
Yep.
dude, well, I did a real quick. I did an article right about the
hmm
Canadian truckers the other day,
hmm
and interestingly enough, everybody's like, "Oh, check out Give, Send, Go," and I did an article, and I mean because it's like quote unquote right wing GoFundMe. And I went into their terms of service, and they're like, "Yeah, we can shut your account down anytime we want for any reason. Yeah, we can keep your money." I mean, it's the same thing.
hmm
It's just it's still another. It's I look at it like this: any platform that has a kill switch, just assume if it has a kill switch, they're going to use it.
hmm
Maybe they don't intend to use it, but maybe they're forced to use it. And so that's what I like to tell people is like we need to be looking at blockchain. We need to look at decentralized things, not more right wing versions of left wing things that are still centralized. And this is
hmm
where a lot of conservatives, I'll argue with them. If you're just trying to go to Getter and some of these other right wing platforms that are also centralized, you're not doing anybody any favors. In fact, I think it's more harmful than good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I believe Getter is the one that's associated with Trump, right? Um,
Like
I
I'm
think
not
I
even
think
sure.
that it
There's so many
is.
of them.
I believe that it is. I know that. I think I was talking to John Crump. He said that you can't say anything bad about Trump on there. There's a whole bunch of things. I don't know if Flying Rich is aware of that or not. So, yeah, yeah, you're muted,
Yeah.
Rich. Yeah. So listen, here's what. Since we are at the tail end, I did want to let people know this. I do appreciate you coming on and talking about it. It really does suck, but it's a good thing that TUSC did, and I like to see TUSC and GOA working together. And I think it's a great step forward. And at least we got that right. We could build off of that, and I'm happy for that. And so this means with the relationship with GOA and TUSC, does this mean that people who have TUSC can donate to GOA using TUSC,
Well,
or is
I was
that
gonna
coming?
just yeah, that's coming.
Hmm.
So what we tell people, this is an endowment. So the
Hmm.
idea is that this will hopefully grow over time. But we've been in talks with GOA for about a year now. This has been a long time coming. So the idea is that they're going to be setting up a payment gateway to allow for donations in TUSC, and we're just working with their tech team to get that done.
Hmm.
And they're also interested in setting up their own block producer node on the TUSC network as well. So they'll also be able to make some revenue that way as well. So this is going to be a pretty tight relationship between the projects,
Hmm.
and I'm real excited about it. And we're going to be bringing on more projects or more groups from the industry to help support our network. And we hope that over time it gives a more sustainable method of funding that can't be shut down like GoFundMe.
Okay, absolutely, yes. All right. So listen, like I said, I appreciate you coming on, Rob. If you want to, you can tell the folks if they want to reach out to you where to do it, and then I'll wrap up because I'm sure that Lewis has stuff to do, so, as well as Flying Rich. So if the folks want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
You can find me on Twitter at Rob McNeely, at least for now. And then, but you can just Google Rob McNeely. You can find me on my website or anywhere else. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Okay, cool. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to run in the end. That's traditional here, and then we'll come back. I'm going to nominate Luis Valdes to leave us with the words of wisdom as we get out of here tonight. But I'm going to run in the end. Like I said, there's no show for the rest of this week. If you guys want to see me, I'm going to be in Orlando at Hamcation in Orlando. I think
On a
it's
rascal.
yeah, if I can do it, I will absolutely be riding around on one of those. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think. Or no, I think it's what like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. I'll be at Hamcation. Look it up, Google it, and then you can find me. That's for Ham Radio. I'm gonna get my technician's license, so that's what Lola and I will be up to. That being said, I'm gonna run in the end, and we'll be right back. And Luis Valdes is gonna give us some words of wisdom. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us, hanging out here. We're going to rip the audio out of this, throw it up on iTunes, Podbean, wherever else you listen to your audio podcasts. We're on Audible, all kinds of places. You guys can find us on there. Just look up your favorite place. You can also just go to hankstrange.com and find the podcast itself. All right, Lewis, words of wisdom.
In the end, everything relies on you, the individual. You could have every organization, you could have every lobbyist, you could have every politician. You hold the ultimate power. You have to hold these people's feet to the fire. Our founding fathers simply, one of the mottos they said was semper vigilance, always vigilant, always ready, always watching. Hold our elected feet to the fire. Put them on the spot. If you want constitutional carry to pass in Florida, make it an issue. Put them on the spot. Confront them politely and in a civil manner, but be assertive. And flat out say, I want constitutional carry. Where is it? Do this with the members of the House, the Senate, and Governor DeSantis.
Absolutely. Lewis, thanks for everything you do. Thanks for coming on Flying Rich. Thanks also to Rob McNeely. We're out of here, guys. We'll see you. You guys stay right here. We are out of here. I got to make sure I press the buttons correctly. Let me do it. Pressing the buttons. All right, there we go. And